Chapter 4866. Lin Xian stood on the mountain peak, looking up at the sky and the scene of destruction. His brow furrowed tightly. He had just become the ruler of the lightning star, and such a thing had happened? Who dared to attack his world? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. His figure flashed, and he flew out of the universe. When he came out of the starry sky, he saw a huge monster. It was very terrifying, and it seemed to be attacking the lightning star. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. At this time, another figure appeared beside him. It was an old man with a little girl. His face was full of fear. When he saw Lin Xian, he exclaimed, "Young master, leave quickly." This sacred spirit was very terrifying. It would be too late if he didn't leave now. Lin Xian glanced at the other party and found that the old man was only a saint, and the little girl was a supremacy. Lin Xian was shocked. He said that he was a saint of the lightning star? The old man nodded. That's right, leave quickly. He could see that Lin Xian was definitely a saint since he could come to the outer realm, so he quickly persuaded him. The little girl also said with her eyes wide open, "Big brother, leave quickly. This sacred spirit is very terrifying. Even my grandpa can't defeat it." Lin Xian smiled. "No need. From now on, no one can threaten the lightning star, not even the sacred spirit. Young master, I know that you might be a top genius from a great world, but the origin of the sacred spirit is very terrifying. This was a very small sacred spirit with a shallow cultivation, but even so, it was not something that the people of the lightning star could fight against." He wanted to persuade Lin Xian again, but Lin Xian had already walked forward. This sacred spirit was very big, and it was impossible to see clearly. One could only see the tip of the iceberg, but it was very terrifying. One of its claws fell, causing the lightning star and the world to shatter. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. Scram! With a cold shout, the sky fell and the earth cracked. The sacred spirit's huge claw split open. A crazy roar sounded, and the starry sky in the outer realm turned upside down. In the 9 heavens, 2 red eyes enveloped the area. The old man behind instantly felt his entire body turning cold. He had no way to escape at all. The other party could kill him with a single glance. "Oh no, have I been targeted? It's over. I'm afraid I'm going to die here." The old man regretted not escaping in time. Lin Xian, who was in front of him, was still not afraid. "What? You're not going to scram? Then go to hell." 6 Dao Fist. Originally, the starry sky had darkened, but Lin Xian's fist was like a golden sun that illuminated everything, causing light to appear once more. The Holy Spirit roared angrily, and an extremely terrifying energy shot out from its eyes as it descended. After the attack, his huge body was sent flying, and the outer space was shattered. Were they repelled? Behind them, the purple thunder saint was dumbfounded. The little girl's eyes were also filled with stars. "This big brother is too amazing. Grandpa, what level has he reached?" the little girl asked. The purple lightning saint laughed bitterly. "I don't know either. I'm afraid it's a realm far beyond my imagination." Lightning star. Countless creatures were prostrating on the ground. They felt that the end of the world had arrived. The black claw was like a god of destruction, sweeping in all directions. Mountains and rivers were shattered, and no one could compare. Even the escaping saints were smashed into pieces. On the lightning star, saints were supreme existences. Even such a person could not resist, let alone others. But suddenly, they realized that the black claw had shattered and turned into a bloody mist. Not only that, even the darkening sky was illuminated. Then, the terrifying aura retreated like the sea. What's going on? Did the world-destroying demonic beast leave? Who did it? They could not imagine. They knelt on the ground and prayed continuously. In the outer space, the Holy Spirit's huge body was sent flying, tearing the void apart. It stood up, roared at the sky, and charged toward Lin Xian. A sword light appeared in Lin Xian's hand, and he waved it forward. The entire universe seemed to have been split into 2, and the endless starfields were shattered. The Holy Spirit's huge body was torn apart. It was severely injured. It roared and turned to escape. Was the Holy Spirit defeated? The Purple Thunder Saint was dumbfounded. The little girl was even more astonished. This scene was like a myth. Lin Xian snorted. Trying to escape? He chased after it. Another six-path fist. A large amount of blood rain fell, and the Holy Spirit's huge body was shattered. Lin Xian chased it all the way until he reached the depths of the starry sky. Finally, he stopped and shouted, "Don't let me see you again, or I'll destroy your soul." The Holy Spirit's eyes were filled with fear. It did not expect that a human could injure it. It was too terrifying. It would never dare to come to this starfield again. In the lightning star's starry sky, the Purple Thunder Saint was still in a daze. At this moment, he realized that the mysterious youth had returned. "How is the young master?" The Purple Thunder Saint asked carefully. Lin Xian said that it ran away and was severely injured. It probably would not dare to come back again. The Purple Thunder Saint sucked in a breath of cold air. The young master was kind enough to save the lightning star. "Please accept my bow." As he spoke, he was about to bow. However, Lin Xian stopped him. "Don't thank me, because this world is mine. I won't let others destroy it." "Yours?" The Purple Thunder Saint was stunned. It shouldn't be. Wasn't the lightning star's world core taken by the Nalan family? As a saint, he was well aware of this. However, Lin Xian said that from now on, he was the ruler of this world. "Let's go." He waved his hand and descended. The Purple Thunder Saint was shocked and followed with his granddaughter. In the world below, countless creatures stood up and cheered. Great, the destructive aura was gone. They did not know who did it. Soon they saw two figures in the sky. One of them was an unfamiliar man, while the other was a terrifying saint, surrounded by terrifying lightning. Someone exclaimed. It was the Purple Thunder Saint. Could it be that he defeated the world-destroying demonic beast? When this was said, countless people exclaimed. Many thanks to the Purple Thunder Saint for helping. They were too grateful. At the same time, several figures appeared in another direction. They were also saints, but they were shocked. The Purple Thunder Saint was about the same as them. Could he defeat the world-destroying demonic beast? They were not sure. The Purple Thunder Saint smiled bitterly and looked at the people below. "You are wrong. It was not me who defeated the world-destroying demonic beast. It was this young master." He pointed at Lin Xian and said. The countless creatures below were stunned as they stared at Lin Xian. Who was this person? He was so young. He was just a young man. How could he be so powerful? Could it be that his strength was more terrifying than the Purple Thunder Saints? Heavens, what kind of realm was that? They were dumbfounded. Chapter 4867. Even the other sages furrowed their brows. Was this young man very powerful? They looked over and suddenly realized that they couldn't see through him. This shocked them. Lin Xian looked around. He took a step forward and said, "I'm the Mad God. From now on, I'm the ruler of the lightning star, your god." Lin Xian's voice resounded in all directions. The living beings below were all stunned. The other party was the ruler of this world. The other party was a god. This news was too shocking. The other sages' pupils shrank. Once they reached the level of sages, they would know that the world core of this world was obtained by the Nalan clan. The Nalan clan was a top clan in an even more terrifying great world. Any one of them would be able to wipe them out. Now that this person had appeared, could it be that he was also from the Nalan clan? Was he the young master of the Nalan clan? How many of them had left? Lin Xian glanced at them and said, "No, the Nalan clan respects me." The sages were shocked and couldn't believe it. Even the Nalan clan had to bow to him? Then where did this person come from? They were shocked. Then, they all bowed and paid their respects to the Mad God. The Purple Lightning Elder also hurriedly bowed. The little girl beside him was stunned. This young man was actually a god. Seeing the lightning star, the strongest sages all submitted. The living beings below also knelt down. Lin Xian said, "From now on, you don't have to worry about the lightning star being attacked. If the world-destroying demonic beast comes to inform me again, I'll destroy its soul." After saying this, Lin Xian took a step forward. His aura erupted. It was as if he had turned into a sun war god. The surrounding sages looked as if they were facing a great enemy. It was as if a single glance from the other party could tear their bodies apart. This was too terrifying. What kind of realm was this? Lin Xian waved his hand, and a drop of blood dripped from his fingertip, forming the shadow of a dragon below, entrenched on the ground. If the world-destroying demonic beast attacks, inform this dragon shadow and I'll appear instantly. The dragon shadow roared toward the sky, emitting a terrifying aura. From now on, this place would become the land of the gods. As the countless living beings dispersed, Lin Xian looked at the Purple Thunder Saint and the others. Then he said, I'll create a few array formations for you guys. Firstly, it can be used for defense, and secondly, it can gather spirit veins for you to cultivate. Thank you, Mad God. These saints are extremely grateful. Lin Xian smiled and began to set up the array formation. This was originally his world. The stronger the people in this world were, the more benefits he would receive. Naturally, he had to make some arrangements. It didn't take long for more formations to appear. The Purple Thunder Saint and the others were stupefied. Such an array could be said to be heaven-defying. It was enough for them to comprehend for a lifetime. After finishing his preparations, Lin Xian left the lightning star and went to the last star world, where he also dripped a drop of 10,000 dragons' divine blood. Then he set up a formation before returning. Riding on the black earth, they flew through the cold universe. Lin Xian sent out a clone to guard them, and then his main body entered the sword world. At that moment, under the power of the 5 stars, the sword world, where the 4 spirit valleys were located, completely changed. The spiritual energy there was abundant and the power of heaven and earth was extremely terrifying. The 4 spiritual beasts were stunned. Heavens, I have stayed on the medicine star for thousands of years, but I have never seen such a terrifying aura. Even Lin Xian was surprised. After all, he had been to many places. He had even been to the core area of the Tao sect. He realized that the aura in the 4 spirit valleys was not weaker than the territory of the Levitation Saint. And this was only the recovery of a single valley and 5 stars. If this world was completely restored, the Tao sect would not be able to do it. Lin Xian was looking forward to this day. It seemed like he could cultivate in the Valley of the Sword world in the future. His cultivation speed would definitely be much faster than outside. Half a month later, Lin Xian returned to the divine abode. The injuries he had suffered previously were completely healed, and his strength was even stronger. After Lin Xian returned, he took a look at the situation of the divine union. He realized that the development was very good. Ever since Lin Wudi's and Mad God's names had spread, many people had come. On the contrary, the Dragon Palace had become much more low-key. Most of them had entered seclusion and would not come out for a short period of time. Bai Susu and the others also knew that it was not that the Dragon Palace was afraid, but that the Tao sect's grand meeting was about to begin. The experts of Dragon Palace all wanted to show off in front of everyone. Bai Susu was also nervously preparing. During this period of time, she had been in the Levitation Saint's residence and rarely appeared in the divine abode. Lin Xian did not feel any pressure, as he had only been here for a few years, so he did not care about the Tao's sacred assembly. The dark red divine dragon and the others naturally did not care. Their goal was to strengthen the divine union as much as possible. At this moment, the dark red divine toad was already a famous expert on the jade board. Actually, with their strength, they could enter the Xian board, but they did not do so. Even the dragon prince did not enter the Xian board. This was because the top few on the jade board were treated very well, so there was no need to rush to enter the Xian board. On top of that, Lin Xian also discovered a few new friends. The North Demon and No Flower. These were all old friends. The North Demon was Black Mountain's disciple and had been training all these years. Previously, he had even joined forces with Lin Xian in the second astral boundary. No Flower was a friend from the true spirit world. Back then he was also a top expert, but after Lin Xian left, they rarely saw each other. Unexpectedly, the other party had also come. The two of them had come after hearing about the god of holy distant ancient city. After arriving, they had not thought of joining the Tao sect. However, they had only come when they heard about Lin Wudi's reputation. They felt that it was very likely to be the Lin Xian from back then. Now that they had seen him, it was indeed so. Lin Xian said, "Come to the Divine Union, I need you guys." The North Demon nodded. "This time, I came on the orders of my master. He asked me to come and help you." No Flower also smiled. "I will enter the Dao sect during the next assessment." Naturally, Lin Xian was happy to meet an old friend. He brought some good wine and prepared to have a good drink. At the same time, he asked Lu Yuan to go to the Sky sect and invite Yi Wudao over. This was also an old friend. When Yi Wudao arrived, his strength was even more terrifying and unfathomable, which surprised Lin Xian. As expected of the sacred body of the ancients, he cultivated the Heavenly Emperor scripture. His cultivation speed was not inferior to Yi Wudao's at all. It seemed like he had a lot of resources under his control. Yi Wudao was even more surprised when he saw Lin Xian. "Brother Lin, you are really surprising. I cultivated the Heavenly Emperor's ancient scripture and obtained many realm cores with the full support of my family. That's why I can cultivate so quickly." Chapter 4868. The few of them drank and chatted for 3 days before returning. Lin Xian entered the sword world once again and adjusted his physique to its peak. When he walked out, there was a terrifying murderous intent around him. "Elder Tianshui, it was time to settle the grudge." Lin Xian rose into the air and flew towards the Sky sect. Previously, he had fought Yi Chen to the death and killed the other party. In the end, Elder Tianshui was enraged and slapped him. Lin Xian was injured back then and swore that he would repay that slap with Elder Tianshui's head. Today, he was going to fulfill his promise. Lin Xian used the Void Beast and teleported. No one knew that he had left, and no one knew that a storm would sweep through again. Sky sect. Many people were spreading the legend of Lin Wudi and Mad God, especially the people of Tianshui Pavilion who had already received the order. Don't go out to accept any missions in the near future. Cultivate in seclusion. They would talk about it after the storm passed. On this day, a figure appeared outside the Sky sect. It was pitch black like a demon. With a roar, the surrounding mountains collapsed and shattered. Who was it? The guarding disciple of the Sky sect instantly rose into the air and shouted coldly. "It was me, Mad God." "What? You're Mad God?" The guarding disciple's pupils constricted. They had been hearing this name every day for the past few days. They didn't expect the other party to come. Could it be that the other party was here for Elder Tianshui? "Why you here?" A disciple asked coldly. "To avenge Lin Xian. To fight to the death with Elder Tianshui." Those disciples' scalps went numb. The other party was really here for revenge. This matter was too big and they couldn't make up their minds. Therefore, someone turned around and went in to report, while the others said, "You can wait outside first." Lin Xian smiled. "I've been waiting for a long time. I can't wait any longer." He took a step forward and disappeared in an instant. When he reappeared, he was already in front of them. Not good. They quickly retreated in fear. However, Lin Xian had no intention of attacking them at all. These guarding disciples were not worthy of his attack. The guarding disciple activated the array formation. The array formation in front of him flickered. However, he could not stop Lin Xian. Lin Xian's speed was too fast. The Void Beast's spatial tunnel, coupled with the Celestial Walk, allowed Lin Xian to enter the Sky sect by the time the array formation lit up. "Oh no, I'm a step too late. Hurry up and report this." The disciples' expression changed. What was this guy trying to do? They did not dare to imagine. After all, in the legends, the other party was a godlike existence. After entering, Lin Xian stepped in all directions and shouted coldly, "Where is Elder Tianshui? Get over here and accept your death." His voice was like thunder, causing everyone's blood to roil. Countless people were horrified. Who is this? How dare you come to the Sky sect and behave atrociously? The Heaven sect disciples were stunned. They were one of the 3 great orthodoxies. Even the clan of the ancients and the great sects wouldn't dare to behave atrociously in front of them. But now, someone had actually done so. Just as they were wondering what was going on, the disciple guarding the mountain rushed over and said, "Not good, get out of the way. He's Mad God." "What? He's the Mad God." Did he really come? The surrounding people quickly retreated in fear. At the same time, they looked at him carefully. This was a legendary figure. The people of Tianshui Pavilion were naturally alarmed. They rushed over with pale faces. Someone gritted his teeth and said, "Mad God, don't be too arrogant. This is the Heaven Sect. If you dare to attack us, the elders won't let you go." Old Zhang of the Heaven Sect was extremely terrifying. Not to mention, there were great ancestors. No matter how powerful Mad God was, he wouldn't be able to withstand a single finger from Old Rat. Not long after, an elder came from the sky. He stood on the clouds and looked down. "Mad God, are you here to behave atrociously?" This person emitted an extremely terrifying aura. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He was in the late stage of the Great Sage. This person's aura was similar to the Levitation Saint. He was a peerless expert. However, Lin Xian was not afraid. He said that he was only here to look for Elder Tianshui and issue him a challenge to a life-and-death battle. Was this guy really going to attack Elder Tianshui? The surrounding disciples exclaimed. The elders in front also frowned. Junior Tianshui was currently being punished. He had already been punished for his wrongdoings. Wasn't that enough? Lin Xian shook his head. He waved his hand and took out a black invitation card. He threw it into the air. The invitation card shone brightly. "This is a challenge. I want to fight to the death with him. What if he rejects?" The elders frowned. "Reject? You don't dare to, right? If you don't dare to, kneel before Lin Xian and kowtow to apologize. I can spare your life." "Damn it, you're too arrogant." The people of Tianshui Pavilion roared. Even the elders in front of them darkened their faces. "Don't you think you're going overboard? Are you kidding me?" Tianshui was their elder. If he kowtowed to apologize, wouldn't it be a slap to the Heaven Sect's face? Going overboard? Lin Xian sneered. When Tianshui struck out with his ultimate palm, did you think that it was going overboard? If Lin Xian was beaten to death, would you kill Elder Tianshui? You're only thinking from the perspective of the Heaven Sect. Have you thought about Lin Xian's perspective? Do you think that Lin Xian has no background and no backing? Do you think you can bully him as you wish? I'm here today to tell you that you can't. Fight. Kneel. Choose. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous. His forcefulness shocked the people of the Heaven Sect. Even the elders in front of them had a dark expression. To be honest, no one had ever dared to challenge the Heaven Sect. Even the Levitation Saint was very courteous when he arrived. But now, this mad god was pointing at his nose and asking him to choose. He didn't want to choose either of the two options. "Mad God, do you know where you are? Do you believe that I can suppress you right now? You're dreaming if you want to challenge the entire Heaven Sect alone. So, I advise you to leave obediently. I'll spare your life." The elder in front of him said sternly. Lin Xian laughed when he heard that. "What? Are you going to bully me again? The Heaven Sect is powerful, but so what?" Lin Xian waved his hand and took out a token. "This is the honor token. I'm now ranked 1000 on the Holy Gulf honor roll. You should know the power I can use." The token in his hand shone with endless light. Lin Xian transmitted his voice into it. "Summon the Divine General." Not good. The elder's expression changed. He wanted to stop it, but it was too late. Moreover, he couldn't stop it at all. A spatial door formed on the token. In the next moment, a figure walked out. The person wore armor and looked mighty. His face was covered, and only a pair of eyes could be seen. They shone with blue light. His armor also had the illusion of the sea. After it appeared, it suppressed all directions. Chapter 4869. How terrifying! Is this the Divine General of the Holy Gulf Tower? The disciples of the Celestial Sect felt their scalps go numb. At the same time, more and more experts gathered, including those on the profound ranking of the Celestial Sect. There were also some terrifying young geniuses. Even Yi Wudao had come. Yi Wudao's eyes flickered, his face full of shock. To be honest, he was very suspicious of Mad God's identity. If it was the person he guessed it to be, it would be too shocking. Interesting. Let's see how far he can go. Yi Wudao narrowed his eyes. In front, Elder Yuan took a deep breath, cupped his hands, and said, "Greetings, Divine General Haiyuan." Divine General Haiyuan nodded, then he looked at Mad God with a look of surprise in his eyes. In the next moment he smiled. They were looking for Mad God, but they didn't expect him to be summoned here. "What's the matter, Mad God?" Lin Xian said, "Greetings, Senior Divine General. I'm here today to issue a challenge. I want to fight Tianshui to the death. The celestial sect threaten my life. Please protect me, Divine General." Divine General Haiyuan nodded. Mad God was ranked 1000 on the honor ranking after fighting 3 times. He had a bright future. Moreover, they needed him to do something for them, so he would definitely protect Mad God. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief when the other party agreed. His guess was right. The identity of the honor fort was really useful. With nothing to worry about, Lin Xian looked at Elder Yuan, who was in front of him. "Of the 2 choices I mentioned earlier, you can choose one." "Damn it." Elder Yuan clenched his teeth so hard that they broke. The people of Tianshui Pavilion were also pale. Was Elder Tianshui really going to be forced to fight to the death? "Old Zhang, you can't agree to it." The people of Tianshui Pavilion shouted. "We've decided. Who are you to say anything?" Lin Xian looked over and saw the sky shattering. The people of Tianshui Pavilion vomited blood and retreated, their faces full of fear. Elder Yuan's expression changed drastically. He said, "Stop. We have to discuss this matter properly. Tianshui was severely injured from the punishment. He won't be able to recover in a short time. If you want to fight to the death with him, you have to wait until he recovers. Otherwise, it would be too unfair." That's right. At this moment, another 2 elders joined forces and came over. There was nothing they could do about it. Even the Ocean Abyss Divine General had come, so they had to take it seriously. After the arrival of the 2 elders, Elder Yuan, who was in the front, immediately gained confidence. "In that case, give us 10 years. Junior brother Tianshui's injuries are very serious. He won't be able to recover in a short period of time. 10 years later, he will have a battle to the death with you." Lin Xian laughed when he heard this. 10 years. The other party had no intention of participating in the death match at all. It was just a different way of saying it. He stretched out a hand and said, "I'll give you 5 days. After 5 days, he must come and fight." "Brat, don't be too impudent," the 2 new elders shouted angrily. "Don't think that you can be arrogant in front of me just because you have a divine general. If you don't agree, fine. I'll ask Senior Divine General to send me away. But from now on, I'll kill anyone from the Sky Sect I see. That is, unless the disciples of the Sky Sect never take a single step out of the mountain gate in their entire lives." Hearing this, the surrounding Sky Sect disciples felt their scalps go numb. If they were to be targeted by such a demonic figure, they probably wouldn't even have the strength to resist. The 3 elders narrowed their eyes. "How dare you?" They were filled with murderous intent. Divine General Haiyuan took a step forward. "Are you going to attack someone on the Holy Gulf Glory Roll? Damn it." The 3 elders were so angry that they almost vomited blood. With the Divine General protecting them, they couldn't do anything at all. If they didn't agree and angered the other party, given Mad God's personality, he would really do something like that. After all, he had killed the people of the 5th Elder's faction. They even suspected that the death of the clan leader had something to do with Mad God. Such a person was a demon king. They couldn't afford to provoke him. Thinking of this, they said, "Fine, 5 days. We agree." The surrounding people were in an uproar. They were shocked. They didn't expect their elders to bow down to the other party. It was unbelievable. Lin Xian smiled. "Then go back and tell Tianshui that I won't hold back in 5 days." Divine General Haiyuan also said, "Then I'll wait here for 5 days. I'm looking forward to this battle too." Hearing this, the expressions of Elder Yuan and the others changed again. This way, they had no chance to attack Lin Xian at all. "Let's go." They quickly returned. It seemed that they had to use some means to restore Elder Tianshui. Lin Xian and the Divine General of the Sea Abyss were invited into Tianzhong Valley respectfully and received extremely great treatment. They had no choice. Although they hated Mad God, they didn't dare to offend Divine General Haiyuan. Offending a divine general was equivalent to offending the sage Origin Tower. Even the heavenly sect had to consider the consequences. In the core area of the heavenly sect, Elder Yuan and the others gathered together. There were other elders flying over from afar. When they heard the news, they were also furious. How dare a mad god behave so atrociously in front of them? Damn it. So what if he has the support of Divine General Haiyuan? Does the heavenly sect not have any divine generals? Indeed. As one of the three major orthodoxies, the heavenly sect definitely had experts on the Holy Gulf glory role. There were even people in the heavenly sect who had become divine generals. Therefore, when they saw Lin Xian had the support of a divine general, they instantly decided to invite their own divine generals. This way, Mad God wouldn't dare to be arrogant. However, at this moment, Elder Yuan sighed. The others might be able to do it, but Mad God was probably not ordinary. He had fought 3 times and reached the 1000th place on the glory roll. Who knew how far he would go on the 4th time? Some people even guessed that he was another emperor's son. Even the Abyss Tower wouldn't easily touch someone like him. Moreover, he was challenging Elder Tianshui this time. Although Tianshui was an elder, he was only in the Great Sage stage. Moreover, he did break the rules in front of everyone by attacking a young man. Therefore, they didn't have a good reason to stop him. Many people sighed. In the end, it was still a matter of interests. If Mad God challenged Kunpengzi this time, no one would agree. They would use all their reinforcements to stop him. However, it was a pity that he was only challenging Elder Tianshui, a person who was punished. Therefore, they wouldn't use all their trump cards. It seemed that they could only fight. They would give more resources to Tianshui so that he could recover in 5 days. 5 days later, they couldn't afford to lose this battle. Elder Yuan nodded. I'll go and prepare now. Tianshui Mountain Range. Elder Tianshui was currently recuperating. The punishment from a month ago had indeed injured him badly. Suddenly, he heard one of his subordinates reporting to him. Mad God wanted to challenge him to a battle of life and death. Chapter 4870. Despicable brat, you've gone too far. If I'm not injured, I'll definitely slap you to death. Tianshui roared. He wasn't worried at all. In his opinion, the Sky Sect would reject him for her sake. However, when Elder Yuan arrived, he was stunned. Elder Yuan said, Junior brother Tianshui, you have to recover to your peak within 5 days and engage in a battle of life and death. What? How was that possible? 5 days? Elder Tianshui was stunned. Didn't you reject him? Elder Yuan shook his head. He couldn't reject him. You can only fight. How could this be? Elder Tianshui was stunned. He didn't know what was going on, but this time, Elder Yuan came on behalf of the Sky Sect. In other words, it couldn't be changed. Damn it, he clenched his teeth so hard. However, Elder Yuan said, Junior brother, don't worry. We'll provide you with enough resources to recover. We can even let you consume a secret pill and reach your peak within 5 days. Of course, you know that the secret pill has side effects. After you reach your peak, you won't be able to recover for 30 years. So, think carefully. Try your best to recover first. If you can't, you can consume the secret pill. I understand. Thank you, senior brother. Tianshui nodded, but his expression was cold. At their level, they couldn't break through even after cultivating for hundreds or even thousands of years. However, this and not cultivating were 2 completely different situations. If you didn't cultivate for 30 years and got injured, you wouldn't be able to catch up with others for the rest of your life. Therefore, unless it was absolutely necessary, Elder Tianshui didn't want to consume the secret pill. He put it away and prepared to focus on recovering from his injuries. On the other side, in the valley, Lin Xian was also quietly adjusting his condition. Elder Haiyuan's eyes flashed. He was fine. What kind of face did he have under the demonic aura? Was he an expert of the older generation or a young genius? There were even a few times when he couldn't help but want to tear the demonic aura apart. However, he still restrained himself. He covered his body with demonic aura and used his title to show that he didn't want to reveal his true identity. Naturally, he couldn't force it. However, he was still fine. Mad God was strong, But the combat power he displayed was only at the beginning stage of the Great Sage. Elder Tianxue was at the beginning stage of the Great Sage. Could Mad God challenge those of a higher level? Or did the other party have some kind of trump card? He was looking forward to it. This matter quickly spread, so much so that everyone in the Holy Abyss ancient city knew about it. In an instant, countless people cried out in alarm. What? Mad God was about to attack again. Who was it this time? It was Elder Tianxue. Heavens, did Mad God directly attack the Heaven Ascension sect? It was said that he even challenged the elders of the Sky sect. God, would he be able to come back safely? Exclamations of surprise could be heard. The Heavenly sect was one of the 3 great orthodoxies. How terrifying was that ancient city? Who would dare to behave atrociously in such a place? But Mad God dared to do so. 5 days later, there would be a life-and-death battle. Let's go and take a look. This time, countless people had gathered here. This time, they were so excited because of the battle between Lin Xian and Yi Chen. Back then, it was a battle between 2 young, peak-level geniuses. This time, Elder Tianxue was in the Great Sage era. He was an elder of Tianzong and was very powerful. As for the Mad God, he was even more extraordinary and mysterious. No one knew his identity or cultivation base. However, they knew that he was ranked 1000 on the honor roll. Such combat power was equally terrifying. There was a limit to the ranking on the Sacred Heaven honor roll. It was a limit to one's cultivation base. One had to be at least a Sage King. Moreover, one could not exceed the Great Sage era. In other words, after the Great Sage era, one could not challenge the honor roll at all. However, this did not mean that the people on the honor roll were weaker than the Great Sage era. The Dragon Prince, Kunpengzi, and the others were not even in the Great Sage era, but they could occupy the top of the honor roll. Kunpengzi, in particular, had reached the top and become the One Crown King. Their strength was probably even more terrifying than the Great Sage era. This was only the One Crown King. It was said that there had been a 3-crown king in the past. Even people like Elder Yuan and the Levitation Saint were terrified of that power. Therefore, no one was looking forward to this battle. Lingxiao Peak. It was a very famous peak in the Sacred Origin ancient city. It was 90,000 meters tall. Like a divine sword, it pierced the clouds. Usually, very few people came here. But today, it was very lively. Damn it, what was going on? Why were there so many humans here? In the sky, a few green rocks and divine eagles frowned. They flapped their wings unhappily. They would come to Lingxiao Peak every month to stand on the peak and absorb the chi of heaven and earth to cultivate. But now, they were not allowed to go. Damn it, who was it? The strong cultivators of the heavenly sect stood there and said that there would be a battle at Lingxiao Peak in a few days. No one was allowed to go for the time being to avoid setting up formations. Damn it, they were from the heavenly sect. A green rock was shocked. The divine eagle also said, who was going to fight? Were there people from the heavenly sect? They were stopped. Not only them, but everyone else was also stopped. Whether it was the clan of the ancients, the great sects, or even the path sect and the earth sect, they could only wait at the foot of the mountain. No one was allowed to go up the mountain. Who knew if Mad God's teammates were hiding among them? If they set up a killing formation, Tianxue would be in danger. Of course, they did not dare to do so. After all, using such a method was challenging the Sacred Origin Tower. Therefore, they tried their best to stop everyone. The Levitation Saint of the Path sect was also here. Beside him was Bai Susu. Bai Susu was excited. She could finally see the legendary Mad God. She wondered what he was like. Beside her, the people of the Divine Union were also clenching their fists. The dark red divine dragon, Fu Hongye, and the others were also there. They were also nervous because they knew that Mad God was Lin Xian. Apart from Fu Hongye and Lu Yuan, only the dark red divine dragon and the other 4 knew this secret. Apart from them, no one else knew, including Bai Susu. Therefore, they were all excited. Bai Susu also said that Lin Xian was actually in seclusion at such a crucial time. He was going to miss an earth-shattering battle. The people at the side laughed. Don't worry, the formation we brought will record this battle and show it to Boss Lin. The Dugu clan and the Nalan clan were also there. Apart from them, the Blue Clan and the Dragon Palace experts were also there. They were all waiting. At that moment, two figures descended from the sky. They were here. Countless people turned their heads to look. They saw two people. One of them was wearing battle armor and had a terrifying aura. They knew that this was Divine General Xing Yuan, and the other person was Mad God. What a terrifying demonic aura. Countless people were shocked. They saw that the demonic aura was so strong that they could not see his face clearly. Chapter 4871. The Levitation Saint was shocked. This was the first time he had seen such a godlike figure. However, for some reason, he felt that he had seen this person before. It was a wonderful feeling, but he couldn't remember when he had seen this person before. He was in the late stages of the Great Sage. This feeling couldn't be wrong. Could it be someone he knew? He was shocked. After thinking about it, he couldn't think of anyone. Could it be the Mad God? Perhaps he had heard too many legends about him recently and was overthinking it. The Levitation Saint shook his head and stopped thinking about it. The others were also discussing it. After Lin Xian arrived, he went straight to the top of the Lingxiao Peak. His figure kept rising until he finally stood on top of the Lingxiao Peak and looked down at the surroundings. Since the other party had arrived, the Sky Sect members no longer stopped him and started to lower their defenses. Countless figures rose into the sky. They wanted to occupy an advantageous position to watch the battle. "Father, you bring us there?" Bai Susu said. The Levitation Saint waved his hand and opened his sacred region. He brought Bai Susu, the dark red divine dragon, and the other members of the divine union to the 9 heavens. Apart from him, there were also some terrifying people standing in the 9 heavens. These people weren't any weaker than the Levitation Saint. Old Master Linghu and Nalanda were also there. They represented 2 top-tier clans, so they had the right to stand here. Apart from them, the others landed one after another. The positions were arranged according to one's status and strength. Lin Xian stood on the highest peak of the Lingxiao Peak with his hands behind his back. He looked around and saw many familiar faces. The Levitation Saint, Old Master Dugu, Nalanda, Fire Dragon Lady, Qing Feng, and even Bai Lifei were there. Further away were Blue Pool and Wind Dragon from the Dragon Palace. Yi Wudao, the Earth's sex overlord, and Lin Xian even saw Light and Alcade. They were all here to watch the battle. Lin Xian's lips curled up. He wondered how many of them knew his true identity. Well, it was time to show everyone the power of the Mad God. The Sky Sect members were also there. Elder Yuan stood in the 9 heavens with a cold expression. There were many disciples following behind him. Some of them were from the Tianshui Pavilion. These people clenched their fists. Just wait and see. Their Sky Sect would definitely not lose this battle. Lin Xian's gaze swept past these people. Then he looked into the distance. A terrifying light burst out from his eyes, piercing through heaven and earth. The others also turned around. "It's coming." They saw an old man flying over quickly. Beside him, terrifying seawater surrounded him. It was Elder Tianshui. Elder Tianshui was like a sea deity as he came with a strong aura. His injuries from before seemed to have disappeared. From the looks of it, the other party had been absorbing countless natural resources over the past 5 days in order to recover fully. After all, this battle not only concerned his life, but also the heavenly sect's reputation. Tianshui came to the vicinity of Lingxiao Peak and stared at Lin Xian. "Mad God, you want to stand up for Lin Xian? Fight me to the death? Today I will send you to hell." The voice was full of confidence. Elder Yuan and the others heaved a sigh of relief. Great, it seemed that Tianshui had recovered. In that case, there was no need to fear this battle. Due to the restrictions of the Holy Gulf list, the strongest Mad God was only at the initial stage of the Great Sage. Even so, there was still a gap between him and Tianshui. And it was very likely that the other party was not even a Great Sage. In that case, the gap between them would be even greater. Hence, they were confident in this battle. "You are not qualified to say that." Lin Xian looked at the other party. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Back then, the other party had used his power to bully him. Today, he would take revenge for that. So what if the other party was at the initial stage of the Great Sage? Today, Lin Xian would also use his strongest trump card. Moreover, others might not have noticed, but Lin Xian had the heavenly secret prodigy. He noticed that the other party's aura seemed strong, but his body was injured and had not fully recovered. The other party was not at the pinnacle and could not compete with him. Seeing the cold light in the other party's eyes, Tianshui frowned. The other party's gaze terrified him. It was as if the other party had seen through his secret. I hate this gaze. Later, I will make it disappear forever. Elder Tianshui sneered. Let's start the battle. I want to see what kind of courage you have to fight me to the death. Beside Elder Tianshui, a terrifying heavenly spirit holy water appeared and covered the sky. Heavenly spirit holy sword. With a wave of his hand, the endless heavenly water law condensed into a holy sword and fell from the sky. The surrounding people exclaimed. Elder Tianshui had used a unique skill right from the start. It seemed like Elder Tianshui was not giving the other party a chance. The heavenly water holy sword released a terrifying aura. It was vast and boundless. It wanted to split the sky and earth in half. Facing such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. Light of the demon god. With a wave of his hand, endless light of the demon god flew out and covered the sky. It seemed to have turned into a sword of the demon world. Boom! It clashed with the heavenly spirit holy sword. What a useless brat. Sensing the light of the demon god, Elder Tianshui sneered. He could see that the other party's combat strength was at the early stage of the great sage. As expected, the heavenly spirit holy sword split all the light of the demon god apart and charged towards Lin Xian. He didn't dare to be careless and instantly transferred this energy to the heaven-devouring jar. The heaven-devouring urn shook violently. There were countless demonic runes on its surface, as if it wanted to devour the world. At this moment, the entire world darkened. Everyone was terrified. They felt as if their bodies were about to be swallowed up by the darkness. Hurry up and leave. They retreated in a frenzy. Even Elder Yuan, the Levitation Saint Lord, and the others were terrified and quickly retreated. What kind of weapon was that? Was it that thing from the legends? Damn it, what was going on? How could you unleash such a terrifying power? Elder Tianshui was stunned. This was different from what he had imagined. Did the other party eat some kind of secret pill? This power was too terrifying. Damn it, could it be that the other party was burning his life? What a lunatic. He also retreated quickly, unwilling to fight back. However, how could he escape? Lin Xian held the heaven-devouring jar in his hand. He was like a god that could devour the heavens. Elder Tianshui felt that he was enveloped by a force. His soul seemed to be leaving his body and his body seemed to be melting. Damn it, get lost. He attacked frantically. Between heaven and earth, countless heavenly spirits' sacred swords tore through the void and slashed towards Lin Xian, wanting to kill him. However, all of this was blocked by the heaven-devouring jar. The heaven-devouring jar descended from the sky and covered half of Elder Tianshui's body. His body instantly turned into a bloody mist. Elder Tianshui screamed crazily and tried to escape. In the end, half of his body was shattered, leaving only his head. He managed to escape. After that attack, the darkness between heaven and earth disappeared. Lin Xian stood there with a cold expression. The others looked over. How was it? When they saw that only Elder Tianshui's head was left, they were all stunned. How was that possible? In an instant, Elder Tianshui was severely injured? This was too unbelievable. The other party was too terrifying. That weapon of his was so strange. It was the legendary weapon. The people of the Sky Sect were also shocked. Lin Xian sneered. With the heaven-devouring jar in his hand, he walked forward again. What are your last words? Stay, or I'll send you to hell. Elder Tianshui had said those words to him before. Now, he returned them word for word. Elder Tianshui was so angry that he vomited blood. Elder Yuan also said, Crazy God, I want you to kneel and apologize to Lin Xian. Can you stop? Lin Xian glanced at him and sneered. It was too late. Go to hell and apologize. The heaven-devouring jar released a terrifying aura again. Elder Tianshui's expression turned ugly. Kid, Do you think you're the only one with a trump card? I have one too. You burned your life force for that attack just now, right? You don't have the strength to launch that attack again. As for me, I can return to my peak in an instant. Let's see how you die now. Elder Tianxue seemed to have gone crazy. A pill flew out from between his brows and he swallowed it. Boom! A terrifying blood-red light shrouded him. He roared at the sky, and his broken body quickly recovered. On top of that, his aura was constantly rising. What's that? Bai Susu and the others were shocked. The others were also in an uproar. The old man of the Dugu family narrowed his eyes. Could it be Tion's secret pill? I heard that this is a very domineering pill. It can restore a severely injured person to their peak in an instant and maintain their super combat strength. However, this pill has very strong side effects. After the pill's effect wears off, the person will be weak for decades. It will be difficult for them to return to their peak. It looks like Elder Tianxue has no other choice. That's why he used this trump card. Hearing this, countless people were shocked. The price was high, but he could return to his peak. With a clang, the blood-red light disappeared, and Elder Tianxue walked out. His strength was even stronger than before. At this moment, even his internal injuries had recovered. He stood there like a god of the sea, shining brightly. His gaze swept across, and the sky fell and the earth cracked. Everyone felt a sense of fear. Kid, I've already returned to my peak. Do you still have the strength to fight me? If not, I'll let you experience the feeling of living a life worse than death. Tianxue roared. The precepts of Tianxue gathered around him, forming a sword of water that he held in his hand. Then he charged forward. The spectators could only sigh when they felt the vast amount of power. This time, Mad God was really in danger. However, Lin Xian's lips curled into a cold smile. He's out of strength? What a joke! Chapter 4873. The four spiritual beasts are giving me power. Lin Xian transmitted his voice again. Inside the sword world, the four spiritual beasts were about to go crazy when they heard that. Damn, kid, can you not be such a wastrel? There isn't much power gathered in this world, and you've used so much this time. Don't you feel heartache? Cut the crap and send it to me. Lin Xian transmitted his voice. The four spiritual beasts had no choice. This world belonged to him, and they were just housekeepers. Hence, they could only send their power over. Devour! Lin Xian sent out a super strong power to the heaven-devouring jar. The heaven-devouring jar bloomed and turned into a black ray of light that pierced through the front. Elder Tianxue was going crazy. How could his opponent still make such a strong attack? Moreover, why wasn't his opponent dead? Wasn't he burning his power? Could it be that he had guessed wrong? He regretted it and wanted to escape. However, it was too late. The heaven-devouring jar had swallowed his soul with this attack, and it was crushed by the merciless darkness and turned into nothingness. Buzz! Elder Tianxue's body fell from the sky and landed on the ground. The ground cracked and turned into a canyon. Was he dead? Countless people were shocked. They could not believe it. The people of Tianxue Pavilion fainted from shock, and the Sky Sect elder's face turned cold. How was that possible? Even after consuming the secret pill, Tianxue still died. Damn it, how did this kid have the strength to use so much power? And this legendary black jar that could devour the heavens and the earth? Could it be that terrifying weapon, the heaven-devouring jar? Could it be that this mad god was related to the heavenly court? In an instant, countless people were discussing in shock. Take his body and leave. Elder Yuan gritted his teeth and waved his hand. The people of the Sky Sect quickly snatched Elder Tianxue's body back and left. This time, it was too embarrassing. They would probably become a joke. Lin Xian's figure flickered as he soared into the sky. He put away the heaven-devouring jar because he realized that many people were staring at him. It seemed that they were all after the heaven-devouring jar. He would not give them a chance. Before disappearing, the Divine General of the Ocean Abyss sent a voice transmission saying, "We still have some matters to discuss with you. When the time comes, go to the Sacred Abyss Tower." Lin Xian replied, and then his body disappeared. In the dark, some of the great sage figures also vanished. From the looks of it, they went to search for him. However, not long after, they shook their heads and returned, sighing. He ran away. The other party's speed was faster than they had imagined. The battle quickly came to an end. Countless people were shocked. The news instantly spread, and Mad God's reputation rose again. Everyone was guessing. The other party's ranking was definitely not as simple as the top 1,000. With the addition of the terrifying heaven-devouring jar, the other party's ranking could definitely rise. Before the members of the Nalan family were frightened, they were still somewhat unconvinced about the death of the fifth elder. However, they were forcefully suppressed by the new patriarch. But now, there was no need for the new patriarch to say anything. No one dared to take revenge. They had seen Mad God's strength with their own eyes. He was too strong, so strong that they found it hard to resist. Many top geniuses even considered Mad God their idol. On the other side, Lin Xian returned to his spiritual abode and retracted the demonic aura around his body. He knew that Bai Susu and the others should be back soon. Before long, Bai Susu and the other members of the Divine Union rushed back. Lin Xian, come out quickly. Bai Susu shouted happily. Lin Xian pretended to be surprised when he came out. What was she so happy about? Bai Susu said, it's a pity that you didn't go. The other members of the Divine Union nodded their heads vigorously. Spus. Mad God was too strong. He had destroyed a great sage elder in a few moves. This was simply heaven-defying. But it's okay, boss. We have already recorded it with an array formation. These people had recorded the scene. Lin Xian nodded his head after watching it. It was indeed very cool. The dark red divine dragon, Lu Yuan, and the others had strange expressions on their faces. They didn't know what this kid was thinking when he saw the scene of the battle. A group of people cheered here. On the other side, the members of the Dragon Palace looked gloomy. Lan Ziyu gritted his teeth and said, this Mad God was too powerful. He was already famous in the ancient city. Plus, he had that weapon of his. An ordinary great sage wouldn't dare to go against him. What was worse was that Mad God was related to Lin Xian. In this case, they would probably have to give Lin Xian some face. Wind Dragon laughed. No matter how strong Mad God was, he wouldn't dare to go against the Dragon Palace. The trump cards of the Dragon Palace weren't something he could imagine. When the time came, he would invite a few late-stage great sage elders and he would be dead. There was nothing to be afraid of. All right, I have already arranged for you to get in touch with the Dragon Prince. How is it? Hearing this, Lan Ziyu smiled. Very good, I've successfully attracted his attention. I'm going to show my charm in the next few days. I will succeed soon. Lan Ziyu had been thinking of all sorts of ways to get in touch with the Dragon Prince. With Wind Dragon's secret help and persuasion, the Dragon Prince met Lan Ziyu a few times and liked him more and more. This woman was not bad. To be honest, he never lacked women around him. But this time, it was Wind Dragon who recommended him and even helped a lot. In the end, Lan Ziyu really stayed by the Dragon Prince's side. Lan Ziyu was very happy. With the Dragon Prince's help, Lin Xian would be dead for sure. The Dragon Prince had too many resources around him. It was the power of many worlds. It was something Lan Ziyu had never come into contact with before. She stayed by the Dragon Prince's side. Her strength had improved by leaps and bounds in the past few days. No wonder the gap between them was so big. Just these resources alone were enough to sweep everything. That Lin Xian still wanted to fight with the Dragon Prince? What kind of joke was this? Did he even have such resources? Lan Ziyu started a revenge plan in her heart. Holy Abyss Ancient City was in a frenzy. During this period, countless top geniuses went to the Holy Abyss Tower to prepare for the challenge. Mad God had shocked the world with a single feat from the Holy Abyss Tower. They also wanted to take this path. But unfortunately, the Holy Abyss Tower was not a place that any genius could challenge. Most of the geniuses could not even reach the first level, which made them despair. Mad God had entered the top 1,000 3 times. How terrifying was he? But there was one person who succeeded. Not only that, his ranking rose sharply. He had directly entered the top 10,000 in his first challenge. And his ranking continued to rise. Finally, it stopped at the top 5,000. Everyone went crazy. Who was this person? It was too terrifying. Was another mad god rising to power? Countless people were discussing. Chapter 4874. Eastern Sage's rise was like a comet, shocking countless people. They quickly searched the area, but they didn't find anything. Damn it, what was going on? Why was Eastern Sage as mysterious as Mad God? These people were crazy. Which side's genius expert had appeared? Yi Wudao walked out of the Holy Gulf Tower with a smile on his face. Eastern Sage was naturally him. He had already guessed who Mad God was, so he had used his title to enter. Eastern Sage's name spread throughout wholly distant ancient city once again. In an instant, the remote antiquity families and the great sects were shocked. Even the three great orthodoxies were in an uproar. The people of the Divine Union were all guessing who Eastern Sage was. After Lin Xian heard this, his lips curled into a smile. Eastern Sage? What a familiar name. Back in the quintessential world, the 5 young geniuses had their own titles. He had been given the title of Emperor, and Eastern Sage was naturally Yi Wudao. It had to be him. It seemed like he couldn't hide it. Where are Ruffian Dragon and Toad? Tell them to prepare a congratulatory gift for me. I want to give it to Wudao. The dark red dragon flew over and said, I'll prepare it. Toad and Hong Yi have gone on a mission. Oh, what kind of mission was it? The current Divine Union was much stronger than it had been in the past, so most of the missions were carried out by other people. Who would have thought that the Toad would go with Fu Hongyu and the others this time? The dark red dragon said, not only that, but Lu Yuan, Nailin Liang, Yu Ren and the rest have also gone. Even Bai Susu has gone. It seemed like it was a huge mission. Why didn't they call me? The dark red dragon rolled his eyes. Mad God, who would dare call you when you were so busy? Lin Xian smiled and slapped him. Let's go and prepare a congratulatory gift. We're going to meet Wudao. Lin Xian took out a spiritual medicine from the 4-Spirit Valley, sealed it, and headed to the Sky Sect with the dark red dragon. The people of the Sky Sect were stunned when they saw Lin Xian. This guy actually dared to come. The powerhouses gritted their teeth, but Lin Xian didn't care. He had come to visit normally, so these people definitely wouldn't dare to make a move. As expected, no one dared to touch them. Lin Xian called for Leaf Dao Denier to arrive. I can't believe you two would come. What a rare sight. Come on, Leaf Dao Denier invited Lin Xian and Yang Qi inside. Leaf Dao Denier's mountain range was one of the top. After entering, Lin Xian took out the spiritual medicine and said, this is for you. Congratulations, you have officially entered the Holy Gulf list. Leaf Dao Denier laughed. It seems I really can't hide anything from you. Lin Xian said, aren't I the same? You should have guessed it by now. Leaf Dao Denier nodded, and the two exchanged their experiences in the Sacred Abyss Tower. Leaf Dao Denier went on to say, actually, if you hadn't come, I would have gone looking for you anyway. Something strange happened recently. What strange thing? Lin Xian was surprised. Leaf Dao Denier lowered his voice. You killed Elder Heavenwater. His corpse was brought back, but before he could be buried, it mysteriously disappeared. Lin Xian's pupils shrank when he heard this. The dragon was also surprised. Who would want a corpse? What use would it be? Could it be that it was turned into a puppet? If that's the case, I'm not worried. I'm worried that it was that guy who did it. Lin Xian frowned and thought of someone. You mean Yao Guang? He had met Yao Guang when he was fighting with the Violet Palace realm. Yao Guang had been very low-key back then and hadn't made a move. Instead, he had been hiding in the distance, collecting the corpses of various experts. Leaf Dao Denier nodded. That's right, it's him. According to the information I received, Yao Guang cultivated the Forbidden Heaven-devouring demonic art. It's actually that kind of martial art. The dragon was also surprised. Wasn't that lost a long time ago? That damned Violet Palace realm even had such a thing. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He seemed to have heard of this matter from Qin Xiener before. He then asked, what exactly happened? Yi Xian asked. Speaking of which, the heaven-devouring demonic palace is related to you. Lin Xian was surprised. Yi Xian continued. Back then, There was a great emperor known as the heaven-devouring great emperor. It was said that he had the sword of devouring. The law of devouring could extinguish everything. As the heaven-devouring great emperor, he wasn't a top genius. In fact, he was just an ordinary person. Logically speaking, becoming a king was his limit. It was impossible for him to become a saint. However, he accidentally obtained the sword of devouring. Through devouring various experts and natural treasures, his constitution and talent were constantly changing. In the end, he swept through the world and became a great emperor. Those were his three most famous things. The sword of devouring existed before the heaven-devouring great emperor, so it was naturally coveted by countless people. The heaven-devouring great emperor was also extremely terrifying. He created two great treasures. One was his own emperor's scripture, the heaven-devouring demonic art. This was a cultivation technique that he had created and evolved. After countless experiments, he had devoured many geniuses in the world. In that era, experts from the primordial aristocratic families, great sects, and various sacred grounds were devoured by him. It could be said that he was the enemy of the entire world. However, he was truly terrifying. He killed his way to the great emperor realm. Moreover, it was said that he was also a madman. In the end, he even devoured himself. It was said that the heaven-devouring jar was made with his physique. Lin Xian was shocked when he heard this. The heaven-devouring great emperor. The heaven-devouring jar. The heaven-devouring demonic art. He controlled half of the heaven-devouring jar. It was definitely related to the heaven-devouring great emperor. That light-shaking realm cultivator cultivated the heaven-devouring demonic art. It seemed that there would be a battle in the future. Lin Xian frowned. That light-shaking realm cultivator definitely wanted the heaven-devouring jar. It seemed that he had to be careful in the future. The heaven-devouring demonic art was an emperor's scripture taboo martial art. Because it was too terrifying, anyone who cultivated it would become an enemy of the world's geniuses. Therefore, no matter how strong the light-shaking realm cultivator was, he didn't dare to show it. He could only act in secret. Lin Xian and the others understood this. However, light-shaking realm cultivator was from the Purple Palace sect. If the Purple Palace sect wanted to return to the peak, they would definitely support the light-shaking realm cultivator secretly. It seemed that he had to be more careful. Lin Xian said, "When I return, I will send people to keep an eye on him." Yi Wudao said, "The Yi family will also pay attention." After all, if the light-shaking realm cultivator wanted to become a great emperor, Lin Xian and Yi Wudao would be his targets. How could they not pay attention? Both parties conversed for a long time. A few days later, Lin Xian left. On the way back, Lin Xian asked the Dark Red Dragon to prepare and send people from the Divine Union to gather information about the light-shaking realm cultivator. However, when they returned to the Divine Union, something unexpected happened. The entire Divine Union was shocked and in an uproar, everyone frantically searching for Lin Xian. When they saw Lin Xian return, the people around him were on the verge of tears. "Boss, this is bad. Something has happened. What's going on?" Lin Xian's expression changed. He immediately summoned the Void Beast and teleported them back to the Divine Union. Chapter 4875. When he heard this, Lin Xian was stunned. He did not even recognize the person in front of him. Soon he realized that it was Bai Susu. What was wrong with her? Her white clothes were stained with snow and her face was covered in blood. Someone had attacked Bai Susu. Lin Xian was in disbelief. Bai Susu's father was the Levitation Saint, an elder of the True Path sect. His position was much more terrifying than Elder Tianshui's. Who would dare to attack Bai Susu? What was going on? "Don't panic, tell me slowly," Lin Xian said. At the same time, he took out many elixirs and gave them to Bai Susu. Bai Susu said that she was not injured and that the blood on her body was not hers. It was the enemy's. However, she had escaped and they were in trouble. They had all been captured. Who were they? Lin Xian furrowed his brows tightly. The dark red divine dragon exclaimed. Could it be Hongye, Toad, and the rest? Lin Xian's expression changed. The dark red divine dragon had said that Bai Susu and the rest had gone on a huge mission. Many experts had been mobilized and only Bai Susu had returned. Could the rest have been suppressed? Bai Susu was right. Toad, Fu Hongya, Lu Yuan, Nailin Liang, and Yu Ren had all been captured. Apart from them, the other members of the Divine Union had all been killed. Lin Xian was instantly enraged. He understood that someone had attacked the Divine Union. Who was the enemy? His eyes were filled with killing intent. In an instant, the 9 heavens were shattered. He was really angry. Previously, he had destroyed the 5th Elder's faction and killed Elder Tianxue at the Ascending Heaven sect, shocking the ancient city. However, he had not expected that someone would be so reckless as to attack the Divine Union. Did they not want to live anymore? It was the Dragon Palace. Bai Susu sighed and told him what had happened. It turned out that the Dragon Palace had released this mission. Bai Susu and the rest had gone there but had been ambushed along the way. The Dragon Palace had been waiting on the path they had to pass. They had set up a supreme killing array and taken various sacred weapons. They had been dealt a heavy blow in an instant. The Dragon Palace had prepared meticulously and sent too many experts. Therefore, although Bai Susu and the rest were strong, they were still suppressed. It was even suppressed. Since Bai Susu was the daughter of an elder, the people of the Dragon Palace did not dare to suppress her. Moreover, they needed someone to inform them. So, he released Bai Susu. As for the others, they were all suppressed, and some of them even died in battle. Lin Xian's eyes turned red after hearing this. The dark red divine dragon also roared. Damn it, they actually dared to attack before it even made a move. He roared, and the people in the distance felt their scalps go numb. They were unable to act within the Dao sect, and they had to wait for us to leave the sect before they acted. If you go to the Dragon Palace now, the elders will mercilessly suppress you. Damn it. The dark red divine dragon roared. Lin Xian also took a deep breath and tried his best to calm his killing intent. What about Hong Yi, Toad, and the others? Where was it suppressed? The current plan was not to take revenge, but to rescue the people first. These people had a special relationship with him. He would not allow them to die. Bai Susu said, I don't think their lives are in danger for now. Before they released me, they told me to come back and inform you. However, they will send someone to inform you of the details. I guess they are targeting you. Lin Xian's face turned cold. The Dragon Palace had been targeting him for a long time. However, it was impossible for an ordinary member to arrange such a sophisticated plan and mobilize so many experts. It must be a core member of the Dragon Palace. Who was it? He immediately thought of the Dragon Prince. He was afraid that only the Dragon Prince could mobilize so many experts. Susu, use your father's power to secretly investigate if the Dragon Prince was behind this. Bai Susu nodded, changed her clothes and left quickly. Lin Xian ordered the people of the Divine Union not to leave the Dao sect for now. In the past, those who went out to carry out missions were to find a place to hide. The people of the Divine Union were also shocked. They had not expected to start a war with the Dragon Palace so soon. They quickly took action. This kid would definitely not let the Dragon Palace off this time. The dark red divine dragon gritted his teeth. Lin Xian's expression was also cold. He had said that he would not let them off. Originally, he had wanted to gather some strength before attacking the Dragon Palace. However, since they did not know what was good for them, he would let them know how powerful they were. Lin Xian decided to rescue Fu Hongye and the others at all costs. At the same time, he would not let off anyone who had participated in this attack. Bai Susu's actions were very fast. After all, her father was an elder. She used some power and quickly investigated. The Dragon Prince had a new cultivation partner. It was Lan Ziyu. Lan Ziyu had been introduced by Feng Long. In an instant, Lin Xian understood that Lan Ziyu must have teamed up with the Dragon Prince. Lin Xian had previously killed Lan Zilu and slapped Lan Ziyu in the face. Lan Ziyu wanted revenge but did not have the strength. He had not expected Lan Ziyu to become the cultivation partner of the Dragon Prince. It seemed that Lan Ziyu did not need to exist anymore. There was still the Blue Tribe. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent. What should he do next? The dark red divine dragon gritted his teeth. Lin Xian said, "Wait for them to come and find us." During this period, they did not stay idle. They gathered a large amount of resources with the dark red divine dragon and started to set up the array. Lin Xian set up the spiritual transfer array while the dark red divine dragon set up the killing array. 5 days later, someone finally came looking for them. The person who came was called Lan Yu. She was a woman from the Blue Tribe and was Lan Ziyu's younger sister. "Lin Xian, get out here." Lan Yu sneered. The people of the Divine Union were instantly enraged. Lin Xian was the leader of the Divine Union. How dare the other party be so arrogant? They rushed out and shouted coldly, "Do you want to die? Do you believe that we will suppress you?" Lan Yu stood outside the spiritual abode and sneered. "The Divine Union is still so arrogant. Don't you want your friends' lives? Damn it." Those people gritted their teeth. They now knew that the core members of the Divine Union had been suppressed and were in danger. Their opponent was the Dragon Palace. Now that they saw the people from the Dragon Palace, they could not wait to kill them. Lin Xian waved his hand and stopped them. He walked out and stared at the other party. "You are Lin Xian?" Lan Yu was not afraid in the face of Lin Xian's cold gaze. This was the True Path sect. The other party would not dare to do anything to her. Moreover, the other party's friends were still in their hands. The other party would have to be cautious. She sneered, "Go to the Black Devil Peak tomorrow night. If you are late, you will regret it for the rest of your life." Lin Xian frowned when he heard this. The dark red divine dragon roared. Bai Su snorted coldly. "Aren't you afraid of the sect rules for attacking your own sect members?" Lan Yu smiled. "Why can't I understand what this sister is saying?" Chapter 4876. Bai Su gritted her teeth in anger. She couldn't wait to tear the other party's face apart. She had never seen such a shameless person. Lan Yu coldly snorted. She looked at Lin Xian and said, "Brat, listen carefully. This time, you can only go alone. If you discover anyone else, you'll bear the consequences." Lan Yu smiled proudly. Then, she lifted her head proudly and was about to leave. At this moment, Lin Xian said coldly, "Hold on." Lan Yu turned around and frowned. She had a look of disdain on her face. "What else do you want? Do you want me to plead for you? Useless kid." She sneered coldly. Lin Xian didn't say anything, but his eyes were glowing. In the next moment, Lan Yu hugged her head and screamed. Her face was pale. "Damn it, how dare you lay your hands on me? You've violated the rules of the Dao Palace. Do you believe that I'll get the elders to suppress you?" She screamed crazily. In that instant, her soul had been pierced and the pain was excruciating. Lin Xian smiled. "Do you have any evidence that I laid my hands on you? Don't talk nonsense if you don't have any evidence." Lan Yu was so angry that she wanted to vomit blood. Wasn't that what she had said to him? She hadn't expected to be slapped in the face so quickly. "Damn it, weren't you the one who injured my soul? This is the evidence. Did I lay my hands on you?" Lin Xian looked around and said. The disciples of the Divine Union shook their heads quickly. "No, when did Boss Lin lay his hands on you?" "Yes, we were all watching. Boss Lin only glanced at you." "Can't you let others see?" Bai Su sneered. "You can't even withstand a glance. How dare you be arrogant here?" As she said that, her eyes glowed coldly. Immediately, Lan Yu screamed again. Although she was from the Dragon Palace, she had entered the Dragon Palace because of Lan Ziyu. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to enter given her strength. Bai Su was a top-notch genius. How could Lan Yu possibly withstand her? Therefore, her soul was severely injured in an instant. She even knelt down instantly. "Just you wait." Lan Yu screamed crazily and turned to escape. "Brat, don't you need to capture and collect her soul?" They had definitely set up a trap. Lin Xian shook his head. She was so weak, how could she know the details of the plan? She was only a messenger. His guess was right. Lan Yu was only in charge of passing on a message. She didn't know anything. Bai Su asked, "What about you? Was he really planning to go alone? Why don't we just ask my father to do it? It's useless, they're well prepared, and so many of our friends are in their hands. If they split up, it'll be hard to handle. The elders would only be able to save a portion of the people. The rest would most likely be killed immediately. Furthermore, it was the Dragon Crown Prince who did it this time. The Dragon Crown Prince must have the support of an elder. In addition, the Dragon Palace had the Dragon Emperor finger. It might even have the support of an old ancestor. Therefore, it's better for me to go personally. Once he used the power of an elder, he would probably alarm an even more terrifying existence. Lin Xian felt that young people should solve their own problems. Ruffian Long, give me the killing formations you set up. I'll go by myself. You and Susu stay here to guard the house. During this period of time, don't let the people around you leave. Alright, then be careful. The dark red dragon gritted his teeth. Since the other party had specifically asked Lin Xian to go alone, his friends would be in danger if he went alone. However, he wouldn't sit still and wait for death. This matter was not only related to the Dragon Palace, but also the blue race. Since that was the case, he wouldn't spare the blue race. He immediately sent a message to the dragons of the Black Sea and asked them to mobilize their forces to attack the blue race. Those who dared to attack their people would have to pay the price. On the other side, Lin Xian moved. He left with the killing formations and the spirit transfer formation. Black Devil Peak. It was a gloomy and terrifying place. This was an ancient battlefield. A fierce battle had once taken place here, and countless experts had fallen. Therefore, the murderous aura here was very terrifying. In fact, a dungeon had been secretly built here 20,000 years ago to suppress some terrifying experts. Later on, the dungeon was abandoned, but it still remained. At this moment, flames were lit in the dungeon again. The green flames flickered with a strange light. Inside the dungeon, silhouettes stood one after another, like gods and devils. At this moment, roars could be heard from inside. Despicable! How dare you attack the Divine Union? We won't let you off. How dare you go against the Dragon Palace? I can only say that you are courting death. Just you wait. It won't be just you. Soon we will send Lin Xian to hell. Despicable! Lu Yuan gritted his teeth. He was injured, and beside him were Nailin Liang and Yu Ren. As for Toad and Fu Hongye, they weren't here. At the same time, they knew that the situation was dangerous. They had fallen into a trap, and these people had captured them to deal with Lin Xian. If Lin Xian really came here, it would be very dangerous. Calculating the time, it's about time. Men, take them out for me. Bring them to Black Devil Peak. In front of them, a man with a cold figure and the aura of the Dragon Dao was present. He was Feng Long. This time, he was also in charge. He wanted to see just how Lin Xian would be able to escape with countless formidable fighters following him this time. Lu Yuan, Nailin Liang, and Yu Ren were chained up, their strength sealed. Hurry up and leave. One of them kicked Nailin Liang. Nailin Liang's body swayed as he spat out a mouthful of blood. Damn it! Lu Yuan also roared, but he was also hit. Why? If you don't leave, I'll let you know what it's like to live a life worse than death. What are you staring at? Do you think you can still make a comeback? When Lin Xian comes, we'll finish him off and send you to hell together. They all sneered. Soon, they were brought out of the dungeon and arrived at the Black Devil Peak. Wind Dragon was sitting on a throne in front of him, and he was swirling some exquisite spirit wine. He looked at the moon in the sky and sneered. Why hadn't Lin Xian come yet? A woman beside him sneered. I think he doesn't dare to come. What, Lin Wudi? How dare he give himself such an arrogant title? He doesn't have the qualifications to contend with our Dragon Palace. This woman was a proud daughter of the Golden Crow clan. She sneered. Lin Xian is also a coward. If he dares to come, I'll suppress him with one hand. You want to fight against Boss Lin with just you? Yu Ren mocked. You can't even defeat one of Boss's fingers. Are you trying to challenge me? Golden Crow Feather's face darkened. Someone, slap him and knock his teeth out one by one. Soon, someone from the Dragon Palace sneered and attacked. A slap smashed Yu Ren's face, and his teeth flew to the ground. Damn it. Lu Yuan's eyes turned red. Come at me if you have the guts. Boom. Golden Crow Feather's slap enveloped Lu Yuan, and the terrifying golden crow fire began to burn. Lu Yuan's body was charred black, and he let out a miserable cry. Stop! Nalan Liang roared crazily. Aren't you afraid that the mad god will come and kill you? Chapter 4877. So what if Mad God was powerful? If he came, someone would take care of him. Also, Mad God was only ranked 1000th on the Saint Origin rankings. The founder of the Dragon Palace, the Dragon Prince, was ranked 2nd on the Saint Origin rankings. Do you think the two sides are comparable? In front of the Dragon Prince, Mad God was just a worm. Ha! They laughed crazily. That's right. The founder of the Dragon Palace was the Dragon Prince, the Emperor's son. He was their greatest reliance. As long as the Dragon Prince was here, they didn't fear anyone except Kunpengzi. They didn't care about Mad God at all. Why wasn't that kid here yet? Another expert of the Dragon Palace frowned. What if that kid was afraid of death and didn't dare to come? Feng Long sneered. All right, I'll kill one of his friends and send his head to the god's abode. Let's see if he comes. If he doesn't, I'll kill him. I want to see how long he can endure. Hearing this, the pupils of Lu Yuan and the others constricted. Damn it, these people from the Dragon Palace are too despicable. All right, I don't think they dare to come. Then choose one. Who should we kill? His gaze swept past the three of them. I'll kill you. Jin Wuyu stared at Lu Yuan and waved his hand. The golden crow flames in his hand turned into a saber and walked forward. I'll chop off your head and send it to the god's abode. I'm looking forward to what will happen when Lin Xian sees it. This is what happens when you follow Lin Xian. Don't be the enemy of the Dragon Palace in your next life because you don't deserve it. He raised his saber and was about to swing it down. Damn it. Nalan Liang and the merman beside him roared crazily. However, it was useless. Their bodies were sealed by the laws and they couldn't resist at all. Were they really going to die? Lu Yuan roared. I never regretted following Uncle Master. It was just that you guys were despicable and used dozens of times more strength than us. One day, little Uncle Master will avenge me. Then he looked at Nalan Liang and Yu Ren. Brothers, let's meet again in the next life. I'll take my leave first. After saying that, he closed his eyes. You're courting death. Jin Wuyu snorted and swung the saber in his hand. Cracks had already appeared on Lu Yuan's body. With this strike, he would definitely die. Boom! A deep voice rang out. The sea of flames spread out, and the void shattered. Nalan Liang and the merman were stunned. Was Lu Yuan dead? Although they hadn't known Lu Yuan for long, only a few years, they had carried out many missions together. They were friends who had gone through life and death together. Now that their friend had died in front of them, how could they bear it? These people's eyes instantly turned red, but when they looked to the side, they were stunned. This was because they realized that Lu Yuan wasn't dead. Lu Yuan was also stunned. He opened his eyes. I didn't die. He was stunned when he saw a hand grabbing his saber. Who was it? He looked up and saw a familiar face. Little martial uncle. Lu Yuan exclaimed. Boss Lin. Yuren and Nalan Liang also roared. On the other side, Golden Crow Feather's pupils shrank. Lin Xian, you've finally come. Boom. Lin Xian exerted force in his palm and broke the battle blade. A terrifying force spread out in all directions. Many large cracks appeared. Golden Crow Feather retreated. Feng Long stood up. The others also had cold smiles on their faces. Their eyes were filled with biting cold killing intent. You're finally here. The show can begin. Lin Xian arrived. His expression was cold, and there was even a terrifying killing intent burning in his eyes. He saw that Lu Yuan and the other two were covered in injuries. It was obvious that they had been tortured. With a wave of his hand, the sealing chains on the three of them shattered. Lin Xian struck out with the immortality art, enveloping the three of them and helping them recover. At the same time, he took out pills and natural treasures. He said, You've suffered. Recover. I won't let go of anyone who attacked you. Little martial uncle, be careful. They have a lot of people. Spus. Let's test them first. They've already set up everything to lure you here. This is a trap. Yuren also roared. They were very worried about Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "It's fine. No matter how many traps they have, I'll destroy them with my sword. I'm here today to avenge you, boss. Little martial uncle." Lu Yuan and the other two's eyes instantly turned red. On the other side, Golden Crow sneered. "So touching. I'm about to cry. But so what? Since you guys are so close, then go to hell together." Golden Crow sneered and the saber in his hand condensed again. Lin Xian was powerful and famous in the ancient city. But so what? This time, they had so many experts. Why would they be afraid of him? Not to mention him, even if the great sage of the older generation came, he would have to die. Lin Xian stared at him and said coldly, "You wanted to kill my friend?" "That's right. I wanted to kill him. I wanted to cut off his head and tear him into pieces. Not only that, did you see that injury on that ant's face was also caused by me? I plan to knock out his teeth one by one. What can you do to me?" Golden Crow sneered, not caring at all. Lin Xian's expression was as cold as water. In the next moment, his body flickered and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in front of the other party. Buzz. The golden hand fell mercilessly. So fast. Golden Crow's pupils constricted. She did not expect the other party to be so fast. She exclaimed and retreated. But soon she was furious. The other party dared to attack her. "Go to hell." He slashed with his saber. Clang. An earth-shaking sound was heard. The Golden Crow slash hit the palm and made a clanging sound. But it was instantly shattered. The huge golden hand pressed forward with an indomitable will, bringing with it a terrifying power and endless killing intent. Damn, what a strong physique. Golden Crow was shocked. She formed a fist with her right hand and attacked. "Is the 9-yang divine fire powerful? Look at my Golden Crow divine fire." She wanted to fight the other party in close combat. The two palms collided and made a thunderous sound. Suddenly, a thunderous flame spread in all directions, but it was useless. Golden Crow screamed. Her palm was shattered and her entire arm was fractured. He was too strong. The 9-yang divine body was the legendary starry sky physique. The 9-yang divine fire suppressed her Golden Crow fire and almost extinguished it. Damn it. The other party was stronger than her. Golden Crow could not believe it. What made her even more frightened was that the hand fell mercilessly and grabbed her neck, then lifted her up. Golden Crow wanted to resist in fear, but the hand emitted a terrifying sharp aura and the terrifying law of death poured into her body. The meridians in her body were instantly sealed and shattered. She felt that she could not exert any power. It was too terrifying. In the blink of an eye, Lin Xian suppressed Golden Crow feather. The people of Dragon Palace were still smiling. They did not react. When they reacted, they saw the scene in front of them. Damn it. Stop. You dare to attack our people. The people of Dragon Palace were furious. There were so many of them here. If they allowed the other party to be arrogant, they would lose face. So what if I attacked your people? Lin Xian snorted. He waved his hand and grabbed Golden Crow Feather's right arm like it was a piece of paper. Chapter 4878. Looking at this scene, the surrounding people were stunned. They did not expect that Lin Xian would dare to attack. Who was that Golden Crow Feather? She was the top genius of the Dragon Palace and the pride of the Golden Crow clan. She was the daughter of the clan leader. Her status was extremely noble. If you dare to touch her, you're dead. An expert of the Dragon Palace roared. Lin Xian glanced at him and sneered. He then waved his hand and tore the other arm. Golden Crow Feather screamed. Blood stained the sky and pierced through everything. Damn it. Do you know who I am? My father is the clan leader of the Golden Crow clan. Golden Crow Feather screamed crazily. Oh really? But so what? Lin Xian laughed. He waved his hand and turned the other party's legs into a bloody mist. Golden Crow Feather screamed crazily, causing the surrounding people to feel numb. Lin Xian was too arrogant. After knowing that the other party was the daughter of the clan leader of the Golden Crow clan, he still dared to attack. Did he not put the Golden Crow clan in his eyes? Finally, someone could not stand it anymore. Wind Dragon also stood up and said coldly, "Kid, let them go. Otherwise, I'll make sure you die without a burial place." Lin Xian glanced at him and sneered. "Do you have the qualifications?" Wind Dragon was furious. Did he dare to challenge him? Men capture his companions. I want him to see his friends go to hell with his own eyes. The surrounding people started to move. However, Lin Xian waved his hand and the Great Sage Pagoda covered the three of them. All the attacks hit the Great Sage Pagoda, shaking heaven and earth. However, they could not break through the defense. Damn it. It's the Great Sage Pagoda. The surrounding people gritted their teeth. This guy really had a lot of trump cards. It was the Great Sage Pagoda. Many people's eyes turned red. Wind Dragon sneered. "After I kill you, the Great Sage Pagoda will be mine. Kid, let them go obediently. Otherwise, the Golden Crow clan will let you know the taste of living a life worse than death." Another tall man walked out. He was also an expert of the Golden Crow clan. From the looks of it, it wasn't just the True Path sect and the Dragon Palace that had taken action. These people had probably called upon the experts of their own families and sections. It was indeed the heavenly net. Let them go or all your friends will die. No one who is related to you can live. When Lin Xian heard this, he was completely enraged. He hated it the most when people threatened him. He was even more annoyed when others threatened his friends and family. He couldn't take it anymore. Killing intent appeared in his eyes. "You have committed an unforgivable crime. I will let you know the consequences of attacking the people around me." After he finished speaking, he waved his hand and a terrifying force tore the Golden Crow feather into pieces. The Golden Crow feather's soul screamed and tried to escape, but it was pierced by Lin Xian's gaze. The reincarnation steel suppressed him. The Golden Crow feather's soul struggled madly. Lin Xian's voice was ice cold. "Don't you like to bully others? Aren't you high and mighty? I'll let you know." What was despair? Reincarnation spring and autumn. Lin Xian activated his illusory technique and sucked the other party's soul into an illusory realm. "You will suffer despair for the next 10,000 years. A cold voice sounded. Everyone's scalps went numb. The expert from the Golden Crow tribe was even more furious. "You're courting death." He threw a punch at Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted and pushed his palm horizontally, blocking the other party's palm. However, at this moment, the expert from the Golden Crow tribe came to the side of the Golden Crow feather's soul. "Wake up." With a loud roar, he merged his power into the soul. However, it was useless. The illusory technique created by the heavenly secret divine eyes was not something that the other party could break. The Golden Crow feather's soul screamed crazily. It was so scary that one look at it could make one faint. "Damn it, quickly break her illusory technique." The expert from the Golden Crow tribe roared crazily. Lin Xian shook his head and ignored him. At this moment, the Golden Crow feather's soul dissipated into thin air. The illusory technique created by Lin Xian had a strong time difference. A few seconds outside would be 10,000 years inside. Although it was a time difference, the other party's soul seemed to have suffered despair for 10,000 years and died in the most miserable way. The expert from the Golden Crow tribe went crazy. The Golden Crow feather was dead. She was the daughter of the tribe leader. In the Golden Crow tribe, she was like a little princess. But now, she was killed mercilessly. Was this guy crazy? Did he not leave any way out? The others also felt their hair stand on end. What kind of demon king did they provoke? Even Feng Long's pupils shrank. The other party's methods were too terrifying. They had to kill him. Otherwise, no one would have an easy time in the future. He stood up and waved his hand. Immediately, the experts charged over. The great sage of the Golden Crow tribe was the first to bear the brunt. He threw out a palm and a vast power slammed towards Lin Xian. The Golden Crow divine fist could destroy heaven and earth. At the same time, 3 other experts from the Dragon Palace attacked. One of them was a sea serpent with the power of the sea. The other one was surrounded by lightning. He was the Thunder King. The last one was surrounded by rocks. The entire land was under his control. The 4 experts attacked together. The sky fell and the earth cracked. This time, The other party should be dead. The people from the Dragon Palace sneered. Lin Xian's expression was cold. He threw out a punch. The 6 divine fists collided with the expert from the Golden Crow tribe. An earth-shattering sound was heard. The great sage of the Golden Crow tribe's palm was shattered. He retreated with blood all over his body. Lin Xian attacked again. The 5 elemental laws gathered and attacked the sea serpent. It turned into an invisible mountain and pressed down. The sea serpent's body was broken into 2. He retreated in fear. It was too powerful. It was not over yet. The other 2 had already charged over. The Earth Saint King roared and threw out a punch. This punch could break the sky. Boom! The sky fell and the earth cracked. The punch landed on Lin Xian's body. The Earth Saint King laughed. What, Lin Wudi? Didn't he also turn into ashes in my hands? Your fist is too weak. At this moment, a cold voice was heard. The Earth Saint King's pupils shrank. How could it be? He saw a golden figure appear in the shattered void. His fist landed on the other party's body but did not cause any cracks. Damn it, what kind of physique was that? Damn it. Earth Divine Fist. He waved his fist and smashed it like a meteor. Lin Xian, on the other hand, kicked out and broke his opponent's arm with a crack. Not only that, he kicked the other party away. The Earth Saint King retreated like a kite. He crashed into hundreds of mountains and fell into the ruins. Half of his body was broken and he could not stand up. Lin Xian injured 3 great sage kings in 3 moves. The 4th person, who was like a thunder god, was stunned in midair. Lin Xian looked at the other party and smiled. His eyes shone with golden light. Kneel. He shouted coldly. It was like the roar of a god. The thunder god Saint King's body swayed and he knelt on the ground in fear. In an instant, he regained his senses and jumped up. He shouted angrily. You're courting death. Lin Xian laughed. What Dragon Palace experts? They're just a bunch of ants. Chapter 4879. Damn it, I won't let you off. Thunder God's Blade. The Thunder God Sage was completely enraged. He unleashed a peerless blade that contained terrifying destructive power. Boom! Lin Xian unleashed the 6-path fist and punched forward, shattering the Thunder God's blade. The Thunder God Sage's body was also penetrated by the punch. He fell from the sky. His face was pale and his eyes were filled with despair. Was the difference that big? He was an expert of the Dragon Palace, but he couldn't even block a punch from Lin Xian. And Lin Xian stomped his opponent into a bloody mist. His soul was once again locked onto by the spring and autumn cycle. After 10,000 years of despair, he died. The surrounding people were stunned. They couldn't believe it. The experts they brought were terrifying. The 4 of them attacked together, but they couldn't do anything to Lin Xian. Instead, they were instantly suppressed. What kind of power was this? Let's kill him together. At this moment, another middle-aged man walked out and shouted coldly. There were many experts of the blue race beside him. Their bodies emitted terrifying ice. Ice sealed heaven and earth. People of the blue race. Lin Xian looked at him and sneered. That person gritted his teeth. That's right, I'm Lon Zilu's father. You dare to kill Zilu? Today, I'll send you to hell to apologize to Zilu. That's right, you don't have to live anymore. Another powerful figure walked out. An expert of the wind dragons. His huge wings were like dark clouds that could destroy heaven and earth. Behind him, there were also experts of the dragons. There was no need to hold back against him. Take out all your ultimate techniques. The wind dragon said coldly. He felt that the other party was strange and wanted to end the battle quickly. Hearing this, the experts of the wind dragons nodded. They roared at the sky and condensed their bloodlines. They formed a wind dragon spear. It released a terrifying bloodline suppression. On the other side, the middle-aged man from the blue race laughed. He took out an ice mountain and attacked together. The experts of the blue race behind him focused all their energy on the ice mountain. This was a great sage artifact. It was filled with endless power and was extremely powerful. With a light wave, heaven and earth were sealed in ice. Let's see how you're going to die this time. The surrounding people all laughed wildly. With a wave of the ice mountain, an earth-shattering power descended. The wind dragon spear was powerful enough to pierce through everything. The two great sage weapons rushed towards Lin Xian, causing the void around Lin Xian to shatter continuously. Even his divine fire was being suppressed. In the face of such a powerful attack, Lin Xian coldly snorted. With a wave of his hand, the great destruction spear appeared, releasing a destructive aura. The destructive power rushed towards the wind dragon spear. At the same time, he spun his left hand, and a Taiji diagram appeared. Boom boom, the sound of an intense collision rang out. The people from the blue race and the wind dragons laughed coldly. Useless brat, you won't be able to resist at all. They were very confident in their weapons. With a loud bang, the wind dragon spear was sent flying by the great destruction. The experts of the wind dragon clan also spat out blood. Countless cracks appeared on their bodies. Many of them turned into blood mist and died. Damn it, how is this possible? They were terrified. What kind of weapon is this? Is the weapon formed by their bloodline even more terrifying? On the other side, the people from the blue race also roared in fear. The Taiji diagram spun, breaking apart the heaven and earth. Terrifying yin and yang energy descended. The ice couldn't resist at all. Many people from the blue race were turned into white bones. You want to kill me with just these methods? You're too weak. If you don't have any other methods, I'll send you to hell. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, 9 killing arrays appeared, covering the entire heaven and earth. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms, and the killing arrays were activated. Terrifying thunder descended from the 9 heavens, turning into thunder dragons that bared their fangs and brandished their claws. The terrifying fire array turned into a fire phoenix that covered the heaven and earth. There was also a poison array, frost array, sword array, and saber array. The 9 killing arrays were activated at the same time. It was powerful to the extreme. In an instant, the people from the Dragon Palace let out miserable cries. Many people were instantly pierced through and torn to pieces. The people from the blue race and the wind dragons were also heavily injured, vomiting blood continuously. Damn it. Wind Dragon's eyes instantly turned red. He hadn't even made a move, and the other party had already thrown out the killing arrays. Quick, activate our arrays. They had been setting up here for so long. How could there not be any killing arrays? In an instant, 24 killing arrays were activated, covering the heaven and earth, sweeping through everything. They blocked Lin Xian's 9 killing arrays. Damn it, these 9 killing arrays were so terrifying. Wind Dragon's face was cold. The number of killing arrays they had was twice as many as the other party, but they were still tied. It was hard to imagine. He roared, and the people around him rushed over. Lin Xian snorted coldly. With the great destruction in his hand, he attacked powerfully as if he had turned into a demon god. With one attack, the bodies of 7 figures were stretched taut, and their souls were destroyed. Then, with another attack, 3 figures were nailed to death in the void. Lin Xian attacked boldly and powerfully. Every time his attack landed, there would be experts who would fall. Damn it, was he the Grim Reaper? How could he be so powerful? The people around him felt their scalps go numb. They didn't dare to move forward. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He would definitely not let these people go. With a stomp of his foot, he rushed forward and charged towards the blue race. If you want to take revenge for Lan Zilu, I'm standing here. Do it. That man was scared out of his wits. Damn it, you dare to touch me? Lin Xian sneered and slapped out, sending the man flying. Half of his face was shattered. Kill him for me. The man roared. The surrounding powerhouses of the blue race roared angrily. World-destroying frost. These people attacked together and used a terrifying ultimate technique. The blue clan was one of the top clans. The world annihilation frost was an ultimate skill created by one of their old ancestors back in the day. This old ancestor was extremely terrifying. He had once conquered all the worlds in the universe. With this technique, he sealed an entire world in ice. All of the living beings in that world had been sealed. This technique became famous in the world from then on. At this moment, with all of them attacking together, they could definitely seal the other party in ice. Crack, crack, crack. Ice appeared on Lin Xian's body. Even the 9 suns' divine fire was frozen. Half of his body was sealed in ice, and it was spreading to his entire body. Soon, his entire body turned into an ice sculpture. The man looked up to the sky and laughed. "Ha, I'm going to take revenge for Lan Zilu personally." He walked over with the killing sword in his hand. Before the killing sword landed, the ice in front of him started to change. The ice sculpture shattered, and cracks appeared on its surface. It spread like a spider. Then, it scattered on the ground. Lin Xian walked out and grabbed the other party's head with one hand. "If you want to take revenge, do it in your next life." He waved his hand and twisted the other party's head off. Poof! Blood dyed the 9 heavens. The eyes of the blue race members were red as they charged over. Lin Xian waved his yin-yang image and enveloped more than 10 figures. Chapter 4880. Lin Xian struck out forcefully and killed all of them. A sea of blood spread, and the surrounding people went crazy. At this moment, a piercing light came over, and 3 killing swords quickly pierced through. These were the 3 experts of the Wind Dragon clan. They merged with the wind and were extremely fast. 3 sharp blades slashed at Lin Xian's vital points. An earth-shattering sound rang out. Lin Xian was pushed back, and cracks appeared on his body. The 3 of them were overjoyed. Great, they took advantage of the other party's injury to kill him. However, in the next moment, they retreated in horror. They found that Lin Xian's cracked body recovered in an instant. Not only did his aura not weaken, but it became stronger. Lin Xian launched a thunder strike, and the great destruction spear enveloped the 3 of them. The 3 of them screamed and turned into a bloody mist. Only 3 broken blades fell from the sky. Next, Lin Xian killed his way into the Wind Dragons and attacked crazily. The powerhouses of the Wind Dragons fell one after another. The Wind Dragon was finally angry. "Kid, you deserve to die. Senior, please help." The Wind Dragon respectfully asked for help from the void. The void broke open, and a few figures walked out. One of them was a human with a cold aura. It was an old man with his hands behind his back. His eyes were like lightning, forming a sea of lightning. "Young man, you're no match for us at all. The great sage of the older generation?" In the great sage tower, Lu Yuan and the others' expressions changed. They didn't care about these people at all. That was because they believed in Lin Xian's strength. These people couldn't threaten Lin Xian. But now that the great sage of the older generation had appeared, the situation was probably not good. Sure enough, the great sage waved his hand, and the surrounding killing arrays kept shattering. Then he pointed at Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt a huge pressure. It surged towards him. The surrounding void shattered continuously, and even his body started to sway. This old man was a little scary. His strength was equivalent to the 5th elders. This was not the end. After him, another old man walked out. His strength was not weak at all. This old man was covered in flames. It was actually a fire crow. The 2 veteran great sage struck out and tore apart the 9 killing formations brought by Lin Xian. Lin Xian was also knocked back by the scepter and spat out a mouthful of blood. Cracks appeared on his body, but they were quickly repaired by the immortality art. Seeing this, Feng Long burst into laughter. "Kid, do you see this? This is the foundation of our dragon palace. We can summon many powerful great sage at any time. Can you do it? Now, obediently kneel on the ground and kowtow, waiting for me to deal with you. If I'm in a good mood, I can leave your corpse intact. Otherwise, I'll let you know what it means to live a life worse than death." The surrounding people sneered again. They felt that Lin Xian was dead for sure. Taoist Huoya shouted coldly. "I heard that you have the arrogant mad god behind you. Where is he? Tell him to come out. I'll suppress him." "Mad god? Lin Wudi? You can't even withstand a single blow." The other great sage sneered as well. The 2 of them walked forward like gods and demons. Everywhere they passed, heaven and earth would collapse. "I've said that no one who strikes today will leave alive. Since you 2 old farts are willing to strike, I'll fulfill your wish." The 2 great sage were stunned. The fire crow great sage laughed. Kid, do you think this is the True Path sect? In the True Path sect, we can't do anything to you. But here, if you die, no one will know that we killed you. We can strike without hesitation. Without hesitation, huh? That's great, because I don't want others to know about some of my trump cards. Lin Xian sneered. Then he waved his hand and 5 spirit conversion arrays flew out. They entered the ground and began to convert the energy of heaven and earth. Not good, this kid is going to use his trump card. The surrounding people of Dragon Palace felt the change in the ground and their expressions changed. However, the 2 great sage sneered. Don't worry, with the 2 of us here, he can't hurt you no matter how many tricks he has. The 2 of them attacked again and enveloped Lin Xian. In an instant, the place was turned into a black hole. Even the starlight of the universe scattered in. Seeing this scene, the 2 great sages laughed complacently. Wind Dragon also snorted coldly. I thought Lin Wudy was very powerful, but it turns out that he is just an ant. Let's see who dares to go against Dragon Palace in the future. The Fire Crow Taoist frowned. Is he dead? What a pity. I heard that this kid has the 9 Yang divine body. I wanted to capture him and ask about the secret of the 9 Yang divine body. The other great sage said, Don't worry, as long as a trace of his soul is left, I have the means to ask. He formed a seal with his palm and many soul chains flew out, trying to suppress the broken soul. Boom. However, at this moment, a sword light flashed and broke the soul chains. Not only that, half of the great sage's body was split open and turned into a blood mist. He screamed and retreated. Who dares to sneak attack me? He's crazy. The Fire Crow sage's pupils shrank. The others were even more shocked. Is Mad God here? So what if he's here? The Fire Crow Taoist roared. The flames on his body were monstrous and turned into thousands of crows, sweeping in all directions. Every one of them was a peerless divine ability that could destroy everything. Mad God, come out. Let me suppress you. He roared. Buzz. No one answered him. The only answer he got was a sword. The peerless sword split the flames in the sky. The Fire Crow Taoist's pupils shrank. He felt a fatal danger and quickly retreated. However, one of his arms turned into a blood mist and couldn't be restored. The Fire-Tooth Great Sage dodged the attack, but the surrounding people of Dragon Palace didn't. Hundreds of figures were turned into a bloody mist by this sword, their bodies and souls extinguished. Damn it, who the hell are you? The 2 great sage roared crazily. Even the Wind Dragon was terrified. Didn't you want to kill me? You don't even know who I am? A sneer sounded. Lin Xian walked out with the dragon sword in his hand. How is that possible? It's you? The 2 great sage were shocked. The Wind Dragon also exclaimed. It's not Mad God, it's Lin Xian. Lin Xian has such power. Is this a joke? Damn it, what's that dragon sword in his hand? Is it in front of me? But why is it so powerful? Could it be a legendary saint weapon? They didn't know. However, at this moment, the ground under their feet shattered. A few spirit veins dried up and fell apart. Wind Dragon sucked in a breath of cold air. What was going on? Even if they set up a formation, it's impossible to use up the energy of the spirit veins so quickly. The Fire Pressure Great Sage exclaimed. I know, he entered the formation just now and is crazily absorbing energy. He relied on this energy to be able to use his trump card. Chapter 4881. Kid, we've already discovered your secret. You'll definitely die next. Wind Dragon roared. Lin Xian snorted coldly. So what if they found out? A dead man won't reveal my secret. As he said that, he slashed out again. The ground below shattered. Another spirit vein shattered into pieces, losing all of its energy. The great sage's pupils constricted. How terrifying was that? One had to know that setting up more than 20 top-notch killing arrays didn't consume much energy, but now, a single sword consumed a supreme-grade spirit vein. What kind of sword is that? Retreat. He retreated frantically, but he realized that he couldn't escape at all. Damn it, block it. Waving the scepter in his hand, he ignited the laws as if he had turned into a peerless divine beast. It was extremely powerful. Its power had increased to the limit, and it was almost close to the mid-stage Sage King. However, it was useless. With a single sword, his body began to crack, and with a bang, he turned into a mist of blood. With a single sword, his heart and soul were destroyed. Is he dead? Wind Dragon's pupils constricted. The other great sage's eyelids twitched wildly. It's too terrifying. However, Lin Xian slashed out again. On the ground below. The spirit vein shattered again. No. You can't kill me. The great sage still wanted to say something, but under this sword, his body and soul were completely destroyed. Kill. The long sword swept across, and the people around him fell one after another. I hate it. Why does he have such a trump card? The people around him roared crazily. Wind Dragon also went crazy and quickly dodged. They had originally set up a trap to kill the other party, but who would have thought that this trap would trap them instead? Now, none of them could escape. Instead, they were mercilessly killed by the other party. Boom. In the end, the surrounding figures fell, and only 3 figures were still standing there. One of them was Wind Dragon, and the other 2 were also top geniuses. Their faces were filled with despair. They had set up this inescapable trap and were confident that they could kill a powerful existence in the mid-stage of the Great Sage. But now, they couldn't do anything to the other party. The surrounding mountains kept shattering, the ground cracked, and the supreme-grade spirit vein was torn apart. Lin Xian frowned slightly. On the other side, Feng Long was overjoyed. This was great. All the spirit veins had been destroyed. This brat had no more strength left. They laughed complacently. Brat, without that sword, how are you going to fight us? They felt like they had seen hope. Although most of the people had died, only the 3 of them had survived. But so what? As long as he could kill the other party and obtain the sword, he would be able to kill the other party. All the losses were more than enough to make up for. Lin Xian laughed. It was too early for them to be happy. Even without the great dragon sword spirit, killing all of them would be as easy as flipping his hand. Furthermore, none of you are worthy of me using the great dragon sword. What? Great dragon sword? The legendary great dragon sword? Feng Long's pupils shrank as he cried out in alarm. No wonder it was so powerful. This brat actually had such a treasure. You don't deserve such a treasure. It should belong to the Dragon Prince. The 3 of them roared crazily. Let's go and inform the Dragon Prince. Let the Dragon Prince kill him. Only an existence like the Crown Prince would be able to use such a supreme divine sword. Moreover, the Dragon Prince could kill the brat in front of them with just a finger. The 3 of them wanted to retreat. Lin Xian sneered. You want to leave? Can you leave? With a wave of his hand, endless black vortexes appeared around them, swallowing the heavens and the earth, blocking their path. Damn it, Feng Long said that he couldn't use the great dragon sword spirit. If we kill him, we can do it too. If we have the power of the great dragon sword, our future achievements won't be inferior to the Dragon Prince. The eyes of the 3 of them turned red. The 2 of them instantly rushed over, but Feng Long quickly retreated. The corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. 6-path fist. Demonic light. Taiji diagram. Lin Xian used 3 ultimate techniques in a row to fight against the 2 experts. The 2 of them vomited blood and were sent flying. Their bodies were shattered, and their eyes were filled with despair. Why didn't Feng Long attack? Lin Xian sneered. How could he not know that he had been used as a knife by others? Damn it, I hate it. They realized that Feng Long had already escaped. The 2 of them had been tricked by him. Do you want to escape? Lin Xian snorted. A pair of yin-yang wings appeared on his back. He used the skywalk step, and his speed was extremely fast. Feng Long was still sneering. With the power of his wind and the 2 of them blocking him, he could definitely escape. Sure enough, he broke through the defense line and escaped outside. However, when he turned around, he saw a figure following him closely. Where are you going? Lin Xian snorted. Not good. Feng Long stopped, dumbfounded. How could the other party's speed keep up with him? One had to know that he was extremely confident in his speed. In his opinion, other than the top geniuses of the Light Clan, no one could compete with him in speed. But now, The other party was not inferior to him at all. If you have any last words, leave them. Lin Xian looked at the other party and said coldly. Feng Long gritted his teeth. Damn it, he didn't attack. Instead, he knelt on the ground with a plop. Young Master Lin, please spare me. I had no choice but to be defeated. It's the Dragon Prince. The Dragon Prince said that he wants to kill you. What can I do? I can only follow his orders. He kept kowtowing. Please spare my life. You had no choice? Lin Xian sneered. While kowtowing, Feng Long's eyes were cold. In his opinion, the other party had been deceived by him. He suddenly looked up. Go to hell. Wind Shadow Thorn. 2 rays of light, formed by the dragon horns, tore through everything like peerless weapons, and attacked Lin Xian's heart and head. Lin Xian sneered and dodged in an instant. At the same time, he kicked out. Feng Long raised his hand to block. With a clang, he was forced back. His arm was numb. The dragon horn transformed into a wind thorn, which was held in his hand. Boy, do you really dare to kill me? Don't you see that only a few of your companions are left? There are a few others in other places. If you kill me, your companions will die without a doubt. If you let me go now, I promise to let bygones be bygones. Our previous grudges can also be resolved. How about it? Lin Xian shook his head. I've said it before. If you attack my friends, all of you will die. What did you say? Feng Long was angry. Don't you care about the life and death of your friends? Aren't you afraid that we will attack? Lin Xian laughed. You think too highly of yourself. You underestimate me too much. I want to save my friends. There's no need to go through so much trouble. There are some ways. So, you can go to hell in peace. Lin Xian waved the Great Destruction Spear and charged forward. It was like a black dragon breaking through the 9 heavens. Feng Long was completely angry and roared. He waved the wind thorns and fought. After 3 moves, he was beaten back. Damn it, how could he be so strong? Chapter 4882. The Wind Dragon's bloodline erupted, and dragon shadows circled the world. It was truly terrifying. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You want to have my bloodline? What a joke. He used his 10,000 dragon divine blood, and dragon shadows appeared one after another behind him. There was a terrifying Tyrannosaurus Rex, a sword dragon roaring at the sky, and a lightning dragon soaring in the 9 heavens. A fire dragon destroying all directions. One dragon shadow after another swept across the world. The wind dragon kept retreating, vomiting large mouthfuls of blood. His face was filled with shock. This is impossible. How can the other party summon so many dragon shadows? Damn it, what bloodline is this? Why haven't I seen it before? Who exactly are you? He roared crazily. However, Lin Xian sneered, and the great destruction in his hand kept attacking. The wind dragon's body was shattered, and only his head was left. No, you can't kill me. You still have a few companions in my hands. If you kill me, they won't live. Lin Xian sneered and pierced through the wind dragon's head. He grabbed the wind dragon's soul and used his heavenly secret divine eyes to collect it. Soon, he snorted coldly and threw the soul into the heaven-devouring jar. It was constantly destroyed and turned into nothingness. With a wave of his hand, the great sage pagoda was retracted, and Lu Yuan and the other 2 walked out. When they saw the mountains of corpses and seas of blood around them, they were shocked. Then they sneered. Good kill, these people are too despicable. Thank you, boss, for taking revenge for us. They were very emotional. Lin Xian nodded. No one can bully us. Lu Yuan, the 3 of you clean up the battlefield here. Take away all the storage rings of these people that can be used. Also, seal the heads of the wind dragon and the others for me. Lin Xian instructed. Lu Yuan nodded. Yuren said, Boss, what about the others in their hands? Lin Xian said, Leave this to me. After saying that, he soared into the sky and flew into the distance. Indeed, Fu Hongye and the toad were still in the other party's hands. The wind dragon was right about that. However, Lin Xian didn't care. He had already obtained information from the wind dragon's soul. Now that he knew the location, he was preparing to head there. In the canyon, Fu Hongyu and the toad were also chained up and injured. The toad roared, "Damn it! Once I get out of here, I'll tear you all to pieces." A man from the Dragon Palace sneered as he stepped on the toad. "You toad, do you still want to make a comeback? You're all dead for sure, and that Lin Xian won't be able to live either." The toad was enraged and roared crazily. Hong Ye's expression was cold as well. Little Uncle Master would definitely not lose. "Ignorant." An older great sage walked over. "With our lineup, even a great sage would die without a doubt. Furthermore, we've already scouted Mad God's whereabouts. He won't appear at all, so you're all dead for sure." "Damn it!" Fu Hongye roared. The people of Dragon Palace laughed. However, at this moment, a figure descended from the sky. Someone was coming. The great sage stopped laughing, and the others were also on guard. When they saw that person, they heaved a sigh of relief. It turned out to be young Master Winddragon. The great sage said with a smile. Winddragon nodded and looked around. "Where is he?" Of course, this wasn't the real Winddragon. The real Winddragon had been killed by Lin Xian. This was Little White's Winddragon. Little White had eaten the transformation fruit before and could transform into various forms. That was why Lin Xian wasn't worried. "These two guys are stubborn. I've already taught them a lesson." Feng Long left. When he saw that Fu Hongye and the toad were both injured, a cold glint appeared in his eyes. Then he said, "Let them go." This wasn't good. What if the two of them ran away? Winddragon laughed. "With so many people here, how could they run away? In addition, gather everyone here. We're leaving." "Where is young Master going?" These people didn't have any doubts. After all, the other party's dragon chi was monstrous and the law of wind filled the air, so it was impossible to fake it. "Aren't you asking too many questions?" Winddragon's face darkened. "There are some things that only the core members know. Don't you believe me?" "Of course not." The powerhouses of the Dragon Palace shook their heads. The great sage also waved his hand and let out a long howl, beginning to gather. Soon, those who were hiding in the dark also came out one after another. Could it be that these people want to deal with young Uncle Master together? Fu Hongye's face was ugly. The toad roared, "If you have the guts, let me go. I'll slap you to death." He stared at Winddragon. Winddragon smiled and ignored him. He turned around and stared at the old great sage. With a wave of his hand, he took out a gourd. "Do you know what this is?" The old great sage was stunned. Then he shook his head. Winddragon's mouth curled up into a smile. "Baby, please turn around." As his voice fell, the purple gourd turned around. A light soared into the sky and directly slashed the old great sage. The old great sage didn't even have time to scream before he died. "Damn it, what's going on? Winddragon, are you crazy? How dare you attack your own people?" Roars sounded one after another. Winddragon laughed out loud. Then, his body bloomed with light and turned into a little monkey. "Yeah, you're all bad people. Damn it, what's going on? Or you?" The powerhouses of the Dragon Palace were dumbfounded. Wasn't he Winddragon? Why did he turn into a dead monkey? "Oh no, we've been tricked. It's not Winddragon. He's the monkey beside Lin Xian." Someone had seen him before and immediately roared. Fu Hongye and the dark red dragon's eyes also lit up. Was Little White here? Lin Xian must be here too. The next moment, a figure flew down from the sky. "Do you still want to escape? All of you stay here." Lin Xian waved his hand, and the sky-devouring jar formed a terrifying vortex, sealing the surroundings. "It's Lin Xian. Kill him." The powerhouses of the Dragon Palace roared crazily. Lin Xian waved his hand, and 3 spirit-transferring arrays were cast into the ground. In an instant, all the energy of the spirit veins under the ground was transferred to the Great Dragon Sword Soul. The Great Dragon Sword's soul flew out, and every attack was like a resurrected dragon. With one attack, half of the dragons died instantly. "Oh no, he has a peerless treasure." The others roared crazily. There was even a veteran great sage who opened the sky with his palms to resist the black vortex. She wanted to escape. How could Lin Xian let her leave? Another 2 swords fell, destroying everything. The surrounding sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The energy of the spirit veins instantly dried up and fell apart. The spirit transferring arrays were also shattered. How terrifying! This was the great dragon sword soul. Hongye and Hongye were shocked. One had to know how terrifying the energy here was, but now they were all killed by 3 swords. No one was left alive. Of course, the great dragon sword's soul required a terrifying amount of energy. 3 swords made all the spiritual energy in this world disappear. Even the great sage's energy would have dried up long ago. Chapter 4883. Kid, you're finally here. You should have let me kill them. The toad roared. Lin Xian took out a king medicine from the sword world, split it into 2, and gave it to the 2 of them to eat. After the 2 of them ate it, their injuries would heal and they would recover. The toad's eyes lit up. Damn, kid, where did you get this treasure? Even Fu Hongye was shocked. Could this be a 10,000-year-old elixir? It was too extravagant. Lin Xian shook his head. He would never be stingy with his own people. He said that he would kill everyone who tried to attack him today. Lu Yuan and the rest were also saved by me. However, this matter is not over. I will destroy the Dragon Palace one day. That's right, I will fight them to the death. The toad gritted its teeth and roared. The 3 of them cleaned up the battlefield and put away the undamaged storage rings. Then, they left to meet up with Lu Yuan and the rest. Lin Xian summoned the Void Beast and opened a space tunnel. The group quietly returned to the Divine Abode. The Divine Abode was anxiously waiting. I wonder how Lin Xian is doing? Bai Susu said. The dark red dragon frowned as well. Why don't we send someone to take a look? Bai Susu nodded. Anyway, the Dao sect has become very lively. They probably don't have time to care. Indeed, the Dao sect's grand meeting would begin in 3 days. Now, many experts from all over the Dao sect had rushed over. The people of the Dragon Palace were also busy preparing, so they really didn't have much energy to pay attention to them. Just as they were about to head over, a space vortex appeared in the Divine Abode. Then a few figures walked out. Great, they're back. Bai Susu heaved a sigh of relief when he saw this scene. The dark red dragon also hurriedly flew over. How are you? Are you all right? They were all very nervous. Lin Xian walked out and said, We're all back safely. The toad roared, I'm so angry. Lu Yuan and the rest also said that they were injured and that their lives were not in danger. However, it was a pity for the other brothers. Indeed, besides them, there were more than 20 geniuses from the Divine Union who had been following them this time. However, they had all died in battle. Bai Susu clenched his fists. He would definitely take revenge. The dark red dragon said, That's right. They will pay with their blood. This must be repaid. Everyone still needs to improve their strength. In addition, we must pay attention to not fall into the trap of the Dragon Palace in the future. Everyone nodded. Lin Xian asked, Susu, why are there so many people outside? He realized that there were too many people from the Dao sect. There were even some people from other clans and sections. Bai Susu asked, Didn't I tell you about the Daoist sect's grand meeting? It would open in 3 days. These people were all here to congratulate him. Lin Xian nodded. Get ready. When the time comes, the Divine Union will also make an appearance. The Sanctuary Alliance had never experienced such a grand occasion since its establishment. Hence, they had to show off in this grand occasion. He wanted to let everyone know that the Divine Union would not have any problems even if the Dragon Palace tried to suppress them. Everyone began to make preparations. The entire Dao sect was bustling with activity. Not many people knew about what had happened in the Divine Union. Over at Dragon Palace's side, the Dragon Prince didn't care. In his opinion, with so many experts slapping away, the other party was dead for sure. What he wanted to do was to display his skills at the grand meeting, catch the attention of some patriarch, and enter the core area. That way, he would obtain more resources from the world. Although he was the Dragon Prince, his halo had always been suppressed by the Dragon Prince. When people mentioned the Dragon Palace, or even the dragons, the first person they thought of was not him, but the Dragon Prince. Only then would they think of him. As a genius, How could he be willing to accept this? Hence, he had to display his strength. Lan Ziyu didn't think so much. She was most concerned about whether Lin Xian was dead or not. However, there had been no news from the Wind Dragon, which made her nervous. Could something have happened? In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. Tomorrow was the day of the grand meeting. Why wasn't he back yet? The Dragon Prince said, "Don't worry, I'll be back tomorrow." Lan Ziyu was nervous. Finally, the 3rd day arrived. On this day, multicolored lights danced in the Tao sect. The great Tao descended, creating a celestial scene. At the same time, countless figures appeared. These people were outstanding, and their auras were piercingly cold. Everyone's eyes were filled with excitement. The grand meeting of the Tao sect was held once every 10 years. The main purpose was for the patriarch to come and see if there were any top geniuses. If there were, he would choose 1 or 2 to be his disciples. He would use the core strength of the Tao sect to nurture them. He would strive to nurture the next Dragon Prince. The disciples of the Tao sect gathered. Among them, the most dazzling was naturally the Dragon Palace. Look, the people of the Dragon Palace are here. Countless disciples of the Tao sect looked at the vast number of people in front of them with envy. The one walking at the front was naturally the Dragon Prince. They wondered if the Dragon Prince would appear this time. Yes, would they be able to see the Emperor's glory? If the Dragon Prince were to appear, he would definitely be sitting with the elders. His status had long surpassed that of the younger disciples. As soon as he said that, everyone nodded. Someone said, "I've received news that the Dragon Prince probably won't appear. He is now challenging the sacred Abyss Tower for power. After all, his goal is to be crowned. He doesn't care about anything else." Although the Dragon Prince isn't coming, the Dragon Prince is also terrifying. I think that in the Tao sect, other than Long Huangzi, the Dragon Prince is the most eye-catching. He is also someone who has hopes of standing at the peak in the future. However, does he want to be crowned? It might be difficult. However, it won't be a problem to become the number 1 person after the Dragon Prince. Everyone was talking about it. Some people said that it couldn't be. There should be another person. Are you talking about that Lin Xian? Yes, he established the divine union forcefully back then and went against the Dragon Palace. It was said that he even killed the Dragon Prince's clone. He should also be very powerful. As soon as this was said, someone else nodded. Someone said, "But that guy is very mysterious. They haven't seen him for a long time. After the life and death battle with I Ching, he has been in seclusion and hasn't come out. I wonder how he is now. Has his injury recovered?" Hearing this, someone from the Dragon Palace sneered. "What, Lin Wudi? There will be no such person from now on. You don't have to look forward to it." After saying that, he turned and left. What was going on? The other disciples of the Tao sect were shocked. There would be no Lin Xian from now on? Could it be that he had fallen? That was impossible. Yes, that was right. Lan Ziyu also clenched his fist. From now on, Lin Xian was history. There would be no such person in this world. Won't appear? Who do you think you are? Do you think you are a prophet? That you can predict everything? At that moment, a mocking voice was heard. Countless people were shocked. Who dared to challenge the Dragon Palace? The people from the Dragon Palace were also furious. Do you have a death wish? Step out and I'll send you to hell. Chapter 4884. It's you. The people from Dragon Palace were stunned. Lan Ziyu's pupils constricted. He exclaimed, "You're not dead." Toad sneered, "What? Are you surprised that I'm still alive? Could it be that you're secretly attacking me? Do you think I'm dead?" Fu Hongya walked out and said, "So it was your Dragon Palace who secretly tried to kill us during the mission. Now he finally found his enemy." Countless people were in an uproar. The people from Dragon Palace were also shocked. Lan Ziyu said, "Are you kidding? How could we attack you? Don't talk nonsense." "Nonsense?" Lu Yuan snorted. "Then why are you so afraid when you see us? And you say we're not dead? You obviously know something. Do you want me to inform the elders of the Law Enforcement Hall to take you away for interrogation?" Lan Ziyu was so scared that his face turned pale. The other people from Dragon Palace were also shocked. They realized that not only were Toad and the others not dead, but the people from before were also not dead. More importantly, they saw Lin Xian. Damn it, this guy is also alive. Lin Xian walked out and sneered, "Why? Are you surprised?" Lan Xiu was so shocked that he couldn't speak. What's going on? Didn't Wind Dragon and the others succeed? Why is Lin Xian still alive? And the people who were suppressed before were also rescued. Did their plan fail? The Dragon Prince frowned. What's going on? Where are Wind Dragon and the others? He used the voice transmission token, but there was no response. This gave him a bad premonition. Lan Xiu panicked and quickly sent a voice transmission to his father, but there was also no response. What's going on? Did something really happen? She didn't dare to imagine. Nothing will happen. The Dragon Prince snorted. It's very likely that they didn't catch this kid and felt that they would be punished when they came back, so they hid outside for a while. Although the mission failed, the Dragon Prince didn't believe that those people would die. They were countless experts. Let's go, attend the ceremony first, and then deal with this kid. The Dragon Prince looked coldly at Lin Xian and the others and snorted. He turned and walked forward. There were many people in the square, and there were many buildings and palaces around them. There was a huge hall in front of them, and it was very terrifying. Dao Palace. This was a very important palace. Only extremely powerful people or people with extraordinary statuses were allowed to enter. The people of Dragon Palace took their seats around the square. The Dragon Crown Prince walked towards the Palace of the Path and quickly entered. The surrounding people were envious. Very few of the younger generation could enter, and the Dragon Crown Prince was one of them. Someone looked at Lin Xian and shook his head slightly. Although this guy claimed to be able to fight against the Dragon Crown Prince, he was still far from it. The Dragon Crown Prince could enter the Palace of Dao, but the other party had no chance at all. Those from the Dragon Palace also sneered. Boy, you want to fight with us? The difference was too great. Let's go to the Dao Palace first. In my opinion, he can forget about entering in this lifetime because he is not qualified at all. Cold laughter could be heard one after another. Bai Susu and the others had gloomy expressions on their faces. It was truly too difficult to enter the Dao Palace. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was completely unperturbed. When he heard the mockery, he laughed coldly. So what if it was the Dao Palace? My goal isn't here. My goal is to reach the peak of the Sacred Abyss Tower. When they heard this, the surrounding people were stunned. The people from the Dragon Palace also laughed heartily. You want to reach the peak of the Sacred Abyss Tower? Who do you think you are? Are you a prince? You are overestimating yourself. The surrounding people also shook their heads and sighed. Lin Xian was a little overconfident. One had to know that the only person who had reached the peak was Kun Pengzi. Even the Dragon Prince was a little lacking. However, given enough time, he would definitely be able to reach it. Besides these two princes, it was impossible for anyone else to reach the peak. Lin Xian snorted coldly and remained unmoved. How could these people understand his path? Next, Lin Xian led the people from the Divine Union to a hall on the side of the plaza and sat down. More and more people arrived at the plaza. There were even some people who weren't from the Path sect but from other clans and sects who came to congratulate him. There was an endless stream of people who came to congratulate the Dragon Crown Prince and the Dragon Palace. The people from the Dragon Palace were very pleased. Did you see that? There are many forces in the Path sect, but they are the only overlords. Kid, did you see that? This is the power of the Dragon Palace. We have countless sects and clans. What are you going to use to fight us? In the hall beside them, the people from the Dragon Palace sneered. Lin Xian replied faintly that he had seen it. However, that was all. In the face of absolute power, everything else was futile. Only by being strong oneself could one be truly strong. Lin Xian understood this very well. He had been able to annihilate so many experts from the Dragon Palace alone because of his own strength. Furthermore, it was said that the Emperor Lord back then could destroy millions of worlds with a single palm. How majestic was that? So what if one had a strong background? One couldn't even defeat a single finger of the Emperor Lord. If Lin Xian could become the Emperor Lord, he wouldn't have to worry about not having enough clans to bow to him. What an arrogant brat! The people from the Dragon Palace gritted their teeth. There were already many people around, but the patriarchs of the Path sect hadn't arrived yet. They would probably arrive at the last moment. At this moment, some people from the big clans arrived. The leader of the Blue clan had arrived. A loud shout shocked countless people as they turned their heads to look. The Blue clan was one of the top clans and was very famous. The leader of the Blue clan had arrived personally. The leader strode over with a group of people. He looked like an old man. The icy aura on his body was abnormally terrifying. It formed an icy battle robe that was extraordinarily mighty. Greetings, Senior. Along the way, the surrounding people bowed to him. Lan Xiu also stood up and greeted the leader. Lan Xiu. The leader of the Blue clan nodded with a smile. How have you been? Has your strength improved? Thank you for your concern. My strength has improved. Lan Xiu smiled. At the side, Bing Ling furrowed her brows. The previous leader wouldn't have such a good attitude towards Lan Xiu. One had to know that she was the #1 genius of the clan. But now, her limelight was completely suppressed by Lan Xiu in the clan. It had only been a few days. She couldn't believe it. Later, she found out that Lan Xiu's status changed because he became the Dao companion of the Dragon Prince. This made Bing Ling very disdainful. The leader of the Blue clan didn't think so. The Dragon Prince was the top figure in the Dragon Palace, second only to the Dragon Prince. He was also the son of the Dragon Sea Master. Such a person's status was too high, far higher than Lan Xiu's. Even Bing Ling couldn't compare to him. To be able to form an alliance with such a person was a great honor for the Blue clan. Therefore, he was naturally happy. Chapter 4885. Lan Xiu nodded and walked towards the Dao Palace with the clan leader of the Blue tribe. Inside the Dao Palace, a few people were seated. The youngest one was the Dragon Prince. When the clan leader of the Blue tribe arrived, he smiled at the others and said, "Greetings, my friends." The other elites nodded in agreement. The clan leader of the Blue tribe came to the side of the Dragon Prince and said, "Greetings, Dragon Prince." Long Ao smiled. "Senior Lan is too polite. You are a senior. Isn't it too much for you to bow to me like this?" The clan leader of the Blue tribe said, "Others can't, but the Dragon Prince deserves it." "You are too polite. Clan leader of the Blue tribe, please take a seat." The Dragon Prince invited the clan leader of the Blue tribe in and the two of them sat down to chat. When the people of the Dragon Palace saw this, they were delighted. They looked at Lin Xian and sneered. "Did you see that? The clan leader of the Blue tribe is very respectful to our prince. Can you do it? The Wind Dragons have arrived." Another shout was heard. The clan leader of the Wind Dragons arrived with his elites. Then he went in to greet the Dragon Prince. "Uncle Dragon, are you still so polite to me?" Long Ao smiled and said, "Please." Both of them were from the dragons. Naturally, they had a close relationship. The Skyblade Mansion Master has arrived. The clan leader of the Golden Armor tribe. Powerful figures arrived one after another. They were all invited into the Dao Palace. Then, they congratulated the Dragon Prince. In an instant, Long Ao was surrounded by many powerful figures. These were the clan leaders, sect leaders, and alliance leaders. Many of them were from the remote antiquity families. Even the weakest of them was a top family. In an instant, Long Ao was in the limelight. He even overshadowed the older generation figures and became the focus of everyone's attention. The people of the Dragon Palace were naturally pleased. Even the Dragon Prince was so powerful, let alone the Dragon Prince. There was no need for the Dragon Prince to do anything. The Dragon Prince alone could sweep everything away. The Divine Union? What a joke! Many people were disdainful of the Divine Union. The others were also discussing it. It seemed like the Dragon Palace was indeed terrifying. Not everyone could challenge them. The Dragon Palace in the Divine Union was like the sky and the earth. The difference was too great. The members of the Divine Union also gasped. Although they weren't convinced, the other party had made such a big scene. Bai Susu gritted her teeth. Damn it, she didn't expect the other party to do something like this. Are they trying to attack us? If we had known earlier, we would have asked some of the family heads to come as well. Bai Susu could also recruit a group of people. Even the talented members of the Divine Union had families behind them. However, compared to the other party, he seemed a little weak. After all, the Blue Clan and the Wind Dragons were all top clans. There were even clans of the ancients among them. Lin Xian said with a smile. No matter, the best part was yet to come. How could he not be prepared? He had already sent invitations to his previous allies. He thought that those people would respond very soon. At this moment, Lan Ziyu had also returned to the palace. He looked at Lin Xian and the others and sneered. It was true that one was powerful, but sometimes, one's foundation and background were enough to overwhelm everything else. Her eyes were filled with coldness. The Crimson Divine Dragon and the others gritted their teeth. Just as they were about to retort, another voice rang out. The Nayland family has arrived. Here it comes. The people of the Divine Union heaved a sigh of relief. Nayland Liang also smiled. The current family head was his grandfather. Naturally, he would come to their side. As expected, Nayland led his family over to Lin Xian's side. Congratulations, young Master Lin. Although the Nayland family wasn't a clan of the ancients, it was still a top clan. Furthermore, it was very young. With strength, it might go even further in the future. Now that the Nayland family head had come to congratulate Lin Xian, many people were shocked. The faces of the people of the Dragon Palace darkened. Was the Nayland family courting death? It seemed like they had to take some measures to suppress this family and let them know who was in charge here. Lan Ziyu snorted. The Nayland family was nothing to be afraid of. Furthermore, this was because of Nayland Liang. Otherwise, why would the Nayland family stand on Lin Xian's side? The Dugu family has arrived. Another loud voice rang out. The people of the Dugu family strode over. This group of people had metal swords on their backs. Their auras were surging. When they appeared together, they brought with them an austere aura. Countless people looked up. Many people stood up to greet them. Old Master Dugu strode over with Dugu Xiao Yi and the rest. Hello, everyone. Old Master Dugu kept waving his hand. He walked to the side of the hall. Everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. Who is Old Man Dugu going to meet? The people of the Dragon Palace were also surprised. Lan Ziyu smiled. He must be here to meet us. Although we don't have much contact with the Dugu family, we have the Dragon Prince and the Dragon Crown Prince. They will come over obediently. Hearing this, the people of the Dragon Palace nodded. Fairy Jiyu, please receive them. Lan Ziyu stood up. Her status was not ordinary now. She was the cultivation companion of the Dragon Crown Prince. Her status in the Dragon Palace was very high. Therefore, she stood up and walked forward with a beautiful smile. It turned out to be Senior Dugu. Senior Dugu, please. The surrounding people were in an uproar when they saw this scene. Even the Dugu family was on the side of the Dragon Palace. It seemed that the Dragon Palace today was even more terrifying than before. But soon, the surrounding people were stunned. Lan Ziyu was also stunned. The smile on her face froze and became very ugly. The people of the Dragon Palace were even more stunned. They couldn't believe it. Old Master Dugu ignored Lan Ziyu and went directly to the side of the hall. Greetings, young Master Lin. This old man is here to congratulate young Master Lin. The Dugu family is here to meet Lin Xian. What's going on? Exclamations were heard. The people of the Dragon Palace were stunned. What a joke! When did Lin Xian become so powerful? When did he get together with the Dugu family? Lan Ziyu's face was even uglier. She turned her head with a trace of coldness in her eyes. She saw that old Master Dugu was very respectful to Lin Xian. It didn't seem like he was pretending at all. Senior Dugu is too polite. Lin Xian nodded with a smile. This was even more shocking. One must know that the Dugu family was also a top family. Old Master Dugu was the patriarch. When you saw him, you had to quickly stand up and be respectful. But now, Lin Xian just nodded. What kind of attitude was this? Even the Dragon Crown Prince didn't dare to do this. This was the attitude that only the Dragon Crown Prince should have. But now it appeared in Lin Xian. This guy is courting death. I'm afraid I'll lose an ally. The people of the Dragon Palace sneered. Lan Xiu also snorted. However, he didn't appear. Old Master Dugu didn't have any dissatisfaction. Instead, he said to the people beside him, "Why aren't you greeting young Master Lin?" Chapter 4886. The people of the Divine Union were also stunned. Bai Susu was even more surprised. Lin Xian actually had such a connection with the Dugu family? It was really hard to believe. The others were in an uproar. It seemed like Lin Xian was prepared. It was no wonder that he dared to compete with the Dragon Palace. Some people also said that the Nalan family and the Dugu family were not bad. However, they were still weak compared to the Dragon Palace. Indeed. How many experts were there beside the Dragon Prince in the Dao Palace? Lin Xian only had 2 experts beside him. They were not enough to be feared. The people of the Dragon Palace also regained their composure and sneered. I want to see how big of a storm you can stir up. Xiaoyi, hurry up and give young Master Lin a congratulatory gift. Old Master Dugu said to Dugu Xiaoyi. Dugu Xiaoyi nodded and walked out to greet young Master Lin. With a smile, she flipped her hand and took out a treasure box. There were 3 leaves inside. What was this? The surrounding people were stunned. Lan Xiu and the people of the Dragon Palace sneered. This was a trap for that kid. They were all watching a good show. The people of the Divine Union were also confused. Lin Xian's pupils constricted, and he took a deep breath. Then he waved his hand, causing the 3 leaves to appear in his hand. Many thanks to Senior Dugu. Lin Xian was too happy. The 3 leaves contained a terrifying sword aura. Old Master Dugu said, "It's good that young master likes it. These are the 3 sword leaves left behind by the top swordsman of the Dugu family 30,000 years ago. They contain the supreme sword Dao and are now given to young master." What? Something left behind by the Dugu sword demon? Hearing this, the surrounding people were stunned. Then they all gasped. The Dugu sword demon was incredible. Back then, he had led the Dugu family to the peak. Back then, the Dugu family was not afraid of the remote antiquity family. Besides the remote antiquity family, who had emperor weapons, no one was a match for the Dugu family. In that era, the Dugu sword demon had swept through everything with his iron sword. How could something left behind by him be weak? In an instant, countless people exclaimed. The eyes of the Dragon Palace people turned red. Damn it, what was going on? The Dugu clan had actually taken out such a good item. At the side, Nalanda also smiled. Look, I forgot that I also prepared something for young master. I hope that young master can accept this world core. The reason why the 8th elder, Nalanda, was able to become the clan leader was all because of Lin Xian. That was why he had given Nalanda a world. The surrounding people exclaimed in surprise again. The people of Dragon Palace were mad with anger. Damn it, how could this kid have such good luck? On the other hand, the people from the Divine Union were extremely excited. This was great. Did they see that? They were not without foundation. The Divine Union was elated, following which, more and more powerhouses arrived. At that moment, a voice was heard and resounded throughout the area. The fire dragons had arrived. They were fire dragons. Many people cried out in alarm. This was also one of the dragons. Its strength was extremely terrifying. Inside the Dao Palace, the Dragon Prince's lips curled into a smile. Although the matter between the Nalan family and the Duger family had caused him to frown, it was still not enough. But so what? The 2 families stood on the side of the Divine Union and still could not contend with the Dragon Palace. Obviously, the fire dragons had come to congratulate him. He sat there with a confident smile on his face. The fire dragons were led by the fire dragoness, who was followed by many powerhouses. She did not go to the Dao Palace. Instead, she walked directly to the side of the plaza. The fire dragon's clan leader was in seclusion. It seemed like he had sent his daughter over. Many people were discussing this. In that case, it was understandable that the other party did not go to the Dao Palace directly. After all, he was just a young man. However, everyone guessed that the other party was definitely on the side of the Dragon Palace. Everything else aside, they were all dragons. This made everyone know that the other party would definitely fight the Dragon Prince. The people of the Dragon Palace were excited once again. Lan Xiu stood up and said, "Sister Dragoness, you are here." The Fire Dragoness glanced at him. Was this the Dragon Prince's cultivation partner? He did not seem like much, she thought to herself. However, she remained expressionless and nodded slightly as a greeting. This stunned Lan Xiu. What was the meaning of this? Was she being ignored? Or was he looking down on her? The people of the Dragon Palace also frowned. At this moment, another figure stood up. This man was wearing dark armor and had an extraordinary aura. His name was Nangu, a top prodigy of the Black Dragon clan. If Lan Xiu did not have enough face, then it should not be a problem for him to come out. His status was not inferior to the Wind Dragons at all. In fact, he was even stronger. "Long time no see, Dragoness." Nangu greeted her. He was also acquainted with the other party. However, the Fire Dragoness only nodded. She had no intention of coming in. Instead, she walked to the palace next to her. "Greetings, young Master Lin." The surrounding people were stunned. She was here for Lin Xian? How was that possible? She was from the Fire Dragon clan. Shouldn't she be on the Dragon Palace's side? The people of the Dragon Palace were stunned. Nangu's expression was ugly as he stood there in a daze. In the Dao Palace, the Dragon Prince's expression darkened. The wine cup in his hand also turned into powder with a crack. The dragons did not dare to come. Instead, they went to see Lin Xian. This made him very angry. Was this a slap to his face? The Fire Dragon race was truly courting death. However, the Fire Dragoness did not care about the gazes of others. She went to Lin Xian's side and began to congratulate him. She waved her hand and took out a jade bottle. This was 2 bottles of Fire Dragon Divine Liquid. "I hope you don't mind." The surrounding people were stunned. This was the treasure of the Fire Dragon clan. Usually it would not be passed on. However, it was given to Lin Xian. And 2 bottles. The Dragoness was too polite. "Please take a seat." Lin Xian gestured. Bai Susu smiled and took it. Then, she invited the Dragoness and the others to take a seat. The people of the Divine Union were still in disbelief. They had not expected the Fire Dragon clan to stand on their side. Then they laughed. Toad jumped out and walked to the Dragon Palace. "Hey, does your face hurt?" The dark red Divine Dragon snorted. "I think some people are too arrogant. Do they really think they can cover the sky with one hand? Damn it." Nangu gritted his teeth. The people of the Dragon Palace were so angry that they vomited blood. In the Dao Palace, the leader of the Blue Clan said with a frown, "Lin Xian was so powerful. What did he do to the Fire Dragon clan? Whatever it was, I will make the Fire Dragons pay the price." The Dragon Prince's expression was cold. His words carried a trace of killing intent. The leader of the Blue Clan and the others' eyes flickered. It looked like someone was going to be unlucky. No matter how strong Lin Xian was, could he really go against the Dragon Palace? They shook their heads and sneered. Chapter 4887. Long Ao was furious, and the people of the Dragon Palace were gritting their teeth. They had been slapped in the face. Everyone else was talking about it. It seemed that Lin Xian had really gathered a group of allies to fight against the Dragon Palace. However, it seemed that it was not enough. Even with the addition of the Fire Dragons, it seemed that it was not enough. The only thing they could do was to slap the Dragon Palace in the face. However, it would be very dangerous in the future. At that moment, a loud voice was heard in the distance. The Yi clan of the ancients had arrived. Everyone was in an uproar when they heard that. The Yi clan was not an ordinary clan of the ancients. It was an emperor clan, and they had extreme weapons. They were definitely top-notch. They were a true overlord. Did the Yi clan come too? Many people were shocked. Some people gasped. That was not right. Yi Wudao, the genius of the Yi clan, was cultivating in the heavenly sect. Why would he come to the Path sect? Everyone could not understand. Perhaps it was because Yi Wudao was in the celestial sect, but Yi Wudao was a member of the Blue Clan. You should know that the Heavenly Sect has another Emperor Clan member, Kunpengzi. His family was also an Emperor Clan, the Kunpeng Clan. His background was not weaker than Yi Wudao's. However, Yi Wudao's talent was more powerful. Yi Wudao had the sacred body of the ancients, while Kunpengzi was a true Emperor Clan member. The gap between the two was still very big. With Kunpengzi around, Yi Wudao would only be second no matter how strong he was. I guess the Yi clan is here to join forces with the Dragon Prince. The two Emperor clans belonged to different orthodoxies. If they joined forces, they would suppress Kunpengzi. This way, it would be beneficial to both the Dragon Prince and Yi Wudao. As soon as that was said, everyone else nodded. That was indeed the case. After thinking about it, they felt that it was the only reasonable explanation. The Dragon Prince was doing his best to challenge the Holy Gulf Tower. Now that he was not here, should they inform him? The Wind Dragon's clan leader asked. However, the Dragon Prince said that the Dragon Prince did not allow anyone to disturb him. Let's go. As the second in command of the Dragon Palace, the Dragon Prince had infinite confidence that he could definitely represent the Dragon Palace. All right, we are willing to follow. The Blue Clan leader stood up, and so did the Wind Dragon's clan leader. The Lord of the Sky Knife Manor behind them. They all followed the Dragon Prince and walked outside. At the center of the square, there was a group of people. The people from the Yi clan had arrived, and the one leading them was the great elder of the Yi clan. Next to him was the young Yi Wudao, and behind him were a few experts from the Yi clan. Wherever they passed, the people around them greeted them. Greetings, Senior Yi. Young noble Wudao was becoming more and more powerful. In response to such greetings, Leaf Daodenier and the Grand Elders simply nodded. After all, these people couldn't even be mentioned in the same breath as them. The others didn't dare to get angry because the two sides weren't on the same level. Even on the buried Emperor Star, the Yi family is one of the top families. The other clans of the remote antiquity were slightly inferior. Greetings, fellow Taoists of the Yi family. At this moment, a group of people walked towards them. The one leading them was the Dragon Crown Prince. The Wind Clan's clan head, the Blue Clan's clan head, and the Heavenly Saber Manor's clan head cupped their fists and greeted Xiao Qian. The members of the Yi family stopped, and the Great Elder nodded slightly. The Dragon Crown Prince smiled and walked over to greet the Yi family senior. This must be Brother Wudao, right? As expected, he was even more extraordinary than the rumors. The Dragon Crown Prince is too courteous. Leaf Daodenier smiled. Long Ao said that the Dragon Prince was in seclusion to break through the Holy Gulf Tower, so he couldn't leave. Therefore, I represent the Dragon Prince and the Dragon Palace to welcome the Yi family senior. I hope Elder Yi won't take offense. Please. He made a gesture of invitation. The surrounding people exclaimed, Heavens, is the Dragon Palace going to join forces with the Yi family? This is too inconceivable. This way, the Dragon Palace would be even more terrifying. Who would be a match for the Dragon Palace? Previously, the Dragon Palace had a terrifying background. Not only did they have the support of the elders, but more importantly, the Dragon Prince had the backing of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. That was an Emperor clan. Now, with the addition of the Yi family, that was 2 Emperor clans. Even the Kunlun sect would have to back down. The members of the Dragon Palace stood up excitedly. Lan Xiu, Nengu, and the others laughed. They stared at Lin Xian, their eyes emitting a cold radiance. Brat, the Dragon Palace is getting stronger. Let's see how you die. The others also shook their heads and sighed. This time, Lin Xian was really unlucky. He had kicked an iron plate. Yes, he still wanted to contend with the Dragon Palace. This time, it was completely impossible. The expressions of the Divine Union members changed drastically. They felt a huge pressure. Beside them, the members of the Dugger family, Nalan family, and Fire Dragon family looked solemn. Nalanda and Old Man Dugger did not regret it. Nalanda's position was given to him by Lin Xian. Old Man Dugger's life was saved by Lin Xian. The two of them stood firmly by Lin Xian's side. On the other hand, the people of the Fire Dragons looked gloomy. They did not agree previously. However, the fire dragon lady was stubborn and they could not stand on Lin Xian's side. Now, it seemed that they had completely offended the Dragon Palace. In the future, the fire dragons would be in danger if the Dragon Palace punished them. Toad, Dark Red Divine Dragon, Fu Hongye, and the others had strange expressions. Soon they sneered. The Dragon Palace and the Yi family joining forces? What a joke! Let's see who kicked an iron plate. They knew the relationship between Yi Wudao and Lin Xian. At the thought of this, the Dark Red Divine Dragon and the others sneered. Ahead, the Yi family Grand Elder also smiled. The Dragon Prince was too polite. Everyone knew that the Dragon Prince was in seclusion to be crowned king. And this time, we're not here to look for the Dragon Prince. Not here to look for the Dragon Prince? The surrounding people were stunned. Even the Dragon Prince was stunned. Who was it? Could it be that they were looking for him? Were they looking at him? Because he was the same as Yi Wudao. They both had the ancient body and a powerful background. However, he was not the first person. Did Yi Wudao want to join forces with him? If so, it was not impossible. He was very excited. However, Yi Wudao did smile. He said, "We're here to congratulate Brother Lin." Brother Lin? Hearing this, the Dragon Prince was stunned. The smile on his face froze. The leaders of the Blue Clan, the Dragon Clan, and the others were also stunned. The others were in an uproar as they discussed madly. Who was Brother Lin? Who could be so important to the Yi family? Was there anyone with the surname Lin among the top experts of the Dao sect? There was one called Lin Jiutian. It couldn't be him. Countless voices sounded. On the Shen ranking, there was a person called Lin Jiutian who was also very strong. However, was it worth the Yi family to mobilize so many people? Could it be that Lin Jiutian had a relationship with the Yi family that they did not know? Thinking of this, everyone felt even better. The Dragon Crown Prince's face darkened. He wasn't here for him or the Dragon Prince. Damn it, that Lin Jiutian was so lucky. Chapter 4888. Lin Xian. Hearing this name, the surrounding people were stunned. The smile on the Dragon Prince's face disappeared instantly. His eyes widened in disbelief. Lin Xian? Which Lin Xian? He asked quickly. The leaders of the Blue Tribe and Wind Dragons were stunned as well. Could it be the Lin Xian they knew? What kind of joke was this? How could that kid be related to the Emperor clan? The others were also discussing this. Was it the Lin Xian from the Divine Union? That was impossible. Where did he get that kind of face? Leaf Doudenier smiled but didn't say anything. Instead, he headed toward one of the halls off to the side. Yi Wudao smiled. Brother Lin, we meet again. Wudao, you're too polite. You didn't even greet me when you came. Lin Xian stood up and walked over with a smile. The two of them chatted happily. It was obvious that they were old friends. Everyone was dumbfounded. The Yi family Grand Elder walked over. Lin Xian didn't dare to be careless. He cupped his fists and smiled. Greetings, seniors of the Yi family. The Yi family Grand Elder's eyes shone brightly. Young Master Lin was indeed extraordinary. Your physique seems to have become stronger than before. Lin Xian had the 9-yang divine body, so the Yi family naturally paid attention to him. Originally, they thought that Lin Xian's cultivation was weaker than Yi Wudao's. Although the 9-yang divine body was extraordinary, Lin Xian didn't have the support of the Emperor clan. Yi Wudao was different. Yi Wudao had a saint body and the full support of his family. His cultivation speed was frightening. But now, it seemed that this wasn't the case. Lin Xian didn't fall behind. Instead, he was on par with Yi Wudao. The two of them stood there like two young gods of war. This shocked the Yi family Grand Elder. Lin Xian was definitely not simple. He probably had more trump cards than they thought. It was Leaf Doudenier who had requested to meet with Lin Xian. After much discussion, the Leaf clan agreed. The elders of the Yi clan were very pleased to have an ally like Lin Xian on their side, which would be very beneficial for Leaf Doudenier. After all, although their Yi family was an imperial clan, they were not the only imperial clan. On the buried Emperor Star, there were quite a few emperor clans. Some of them could even threaten Yi Wudao. Therefore, the Yi family also needed allies. "Senior, you flatter me," Lin Xian said with a smile. After chatting with the seniors of the Yi clan for a while, they nodded in agreement. "Wudao, you stay here. We're going to the palace of Dao." Given the status of the great elder of the Yi family and the others, it was likely that the Dao sect elders would not be willing to stay with Lin Xian. Thus, in order to avoid unnecessary trouble, the Yi clan's elders and the others went to the Dao palace. As for Leaf Dao Denier, he remained with Lin Xian. Leaf Dao Denier was the Yi clan's holy body, and he had shown everyone that the Yi clan was on Lin Xian's side. The surrounding people went crazy. The people from the Dragon Palace did not dare to believe it. Their expressions became unsightly. If it was said that they did not care about the Nailin clan or the Dugu clan before, the current Yi clan was different. This was an imperial clan. An imperial clan was equivalent to a group of clans on their side. Lin Xian actually had the ability to contend with the Dragon Palace. Damn it. They clenched their teeth so hard that they broke. Lan Xiu's face was pale. The wine cup in his hand fell to the ground and shattered. How was this possible? She had gone crazy. Every time, she was immensely pleased with herself, thinking that she could trample the other party under her feet and never let him rise again. But every time, her foot would step on air, and the other party would jump high and slap her. Previously, on the battlefield, the other party had shocked everyone with a single feat and displayed great strength. She could only look up to him. Now, with the Dragon Crown Prince as her backer, she thought that she could look down on him. But the other party actually knew an imperial clan. Was she going to have to look up to him again? She did not want to feel this way again. The Dragon Crown Prince's face was even uglier. He had come full of confidence, but in the end he was ignored. Damn it, he wished he could run away now. His face darkened as he turned and strode towards the Dao Palace. The Wind Dragon's elder, the Blue Clan leader, and the Sky Saber Mansion Master also lowered their heads. They were extremely embarrassed. The people from the True Path sect were in an uproar. This Lin Xian was not simple. Now, it seemed that he was indeed qualified to contend with the Dragon Palace. The people from the Divine Union were in high spirits. They were extremely excited every time. That was an imperial clan. This was great. Who would dare to look down on them? The Toad and the dark red divine dragon came out and mocked the people from the Dragon Palace. A few people from the Dragon Palace vomited blood and fainted. Nailinda and Old Master Dugu were also shocked. Young Master Lin was indeed unfathomable. The Fire Dragon's elder was also shocked. Previously, they were indeed unhappy with the actions of the Fire Dragon Princess. After all, this might offend the Dragon Palace and even the Dragon Prince. However, they were relieved now. With the Yi family around, the Divine Union's foundation had also become stronger. Previously, no one was optimistic about Lin Xian and the Divine Union. They thought that the other party was courting death. However, the situation had completely changed now. Everyone was talking about Lin Xian's god. It was as though they had forgotten about the Dragon Palace. In such an atmosphere, half a day passed. The people from the Dragon Palace could not wait to escape. The Dragon Crown Prince closed his eyes and did not say a word. The atmosphere was strange. At this moment, a loud voice rang out from outside. Thunder boomed 9 times and turned into a thunder dragon. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had arrived. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had arrived. Countless people exclaimed. This was also an imperial clan. Moreover, it was a dragon. Countless people were shocked. They had not expected to see 2 imperial clans today. In the Dao Palace, the Dragon Prince opened his eyes, which emitted a piercing light. They had waited. Previously, they had been suppressed. He had been waiting. Only the elites from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty would be able to contend with the Yi family. Now they had finally arrived. He took large strides and walked outside. The Wind Dragon's clan leader took a deep breath and hurried to follow. The clan leader of the Blue Tribe, the Sky Saber Mansion Master, and the others moved out once again. Greetings, seniors. The Dragon Crown Prince was unusually excited. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were powerful and their bloodlines were terrifying. Their appearance caused the surrounding people to turn pale. It was as though their bloodlines were about to freeze. The Dragon Prince had not come out of seclusion yet? The leading man asked coldly. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty only had eyes for the Dragon Prince. Although Long Ao was the Dragon Sea Crown Prince, they still did not take him seriously. Long Ao did not dare to be careless. His expression became respectful. Third Uncle Long, the Dragon Prince is still in seclusion in the sacred Origin Tower. Seniors, please. The Dragon Crown Prince carefully invited the people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty into the Dao Palace. The people from the Dragon Palace heaved a sigh of relief and gritted their teeth. So what if the Divine Union had the Yi family? The Dragon Palace had the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. The Dragon Prince was from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. Chapter 4889. What was supposed to be a grand event of the Dao sect had now turned into a battle between the Dragon Palace and the Divine Union. It was really surprising. Of course, the crowd did not mind. They were all very excited. It was really rare to see such a battle. All sorts of big shots were emerging. Even the Emperor race had come. Who knew how things would develop next? Everyone was looking forward to it. Following which, more people arrived. Many of them were here to congratulate the Dragon Palace. This allowed the Dragon Palace to turn the tables. The people of the Dragon Palace regained their hope. Some people said that the Dragon Palace had a lot of trump cards. The older, the wiser. At this moment, a series of reports came from afar. Taiching Ancient City, Pill Cauldron Sect, sent gifts. Mount Eternal and the Hall of Eternal Life sent gifts. Mount Eternal, Fire God Palace, sent gifts. Ancient Desolation, Gu Family, sent gifts. Mountain Sea Palace, sent gifts. Six Path Sect, sent gifts. A series of voices rang out, causing an uproar. These were all top sects and emperor race like the Gu family. Countless people were shocked. The elders of the Dao sect arrived one after another. For example, the Levitation Saint and the others. When they heard the news, they were also very happy. It seemed like the Dao sect was getting stronger and stronger. The Yi family, Thousand Dragon Court, and Gu family, the three emperor races, came together. This was very rare in the orthodoxy. After all, Yi Wudao was from the Sky sect and Gu Feng was from the Earth sect. It was really rare for them to gather together. Soon a group of people walked in. Some of them were covered in flames, some were cold, and some had a mysterious spatial aura. Pill Cauldron Sect, Zhu Dao Sect, spread your Dao across the 4 seas. I wish the Divine Union a bright future. I wish young Master Lin a bright future. Longevity Hall, Zhu Dao Sect, spread your Dao across the 4 seas. I wish the Divine Union a bright future. I wish young Master Lin a bright future. Fire God Palace, Zhu Dao Sect, spread your Dao across the 4 seas. I wish the Divine Union a bright future. I wish young Master Lin a bright future. Gu Family. Mountain Sea Palace. Six Path Sect. Congratulations. A loud voice rang out. One of the congratulatory gifts was given to the Dao sect and the other to the Divine Union. The surrounding people were stunned. What was going on? These people were not only here to congratulate the Dao sect, but also to support the Divine Union. It was too unbelievable. The people of the Divine Union were stunned. Were they dreaming? Happiness had come too suddenly. The people of Dragon Palace were shocked, and so was the Dragon Crown Prince. These families and sects were not from the Holy Abyss Ancient City. Even the Dragon Palace could not gather them. But now Lin Xian had done it. Damn it, how did he do it? The Dragon Prince couldn't believe it. After hearing about this, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's people's expressions darkened. Was there anyone who dared to compete with the Dragon Palace? That Lin Xian didn't know the difference between life and death. Previously, they were disdainful of him, but now, their faces were filled with shock. From the looks of it, this opponent was not simple. The Dao sect's elders also cried out in alarm and began to discuss. This was not the first time they had heard of the name Lin Xian. They had known about it before, but when they found out that the other party had the immortal burial physique, many of them gave up. But now, it seemed that this was not necessarily the case. The Levitation Saint's lips curled into a smile. Judging from the situation, the Divine Union wasn't any weaker than the Dragon Palace. In fact, they might even be stronger. This way, when the Patriarch arrived, he could use this opportunity to suggest that the Patriarch accept Lin Xian as a disciple and allow Lin Xian to enter the core area. The Levitation Saint took a deep breath and began to look forward to it. The atmosphere had reached its peak. Lin Xian's limelight was unparalleled. Even the Dragon Palace had been suppressed. The untethered Six Paths and the others who had come to deliver gifts first went to the Dao Palace, then went to pay their respects to Lin Xian before leaving. At this moment, another voice was heard. Mad God had arrived. The moment this voice was heard, countless people went into an uproar. Mad God, this name was like thunder to their ears. Recently, he had risen like a comet in the ancient city. First, he had reached the 1000th place on the Saint Plains leaderboard. Then, he had single-handedly wiped out the Nalan family's 5th Elders faction. Then, he had gone to the Sky Ascension sect and fought with the Sky Sect's elder. He had killed the other party and left calmly. Every single one of his achievements was shocking. Now, was he also coming? The people of the Divine Union were extremely excited. In their opinion, this was their biggest backer. However, the dark red Divine Dragon and the others had strange expressions. They were actually looking forward to it. This was because they knew that Lin Xian was Mad God. This time, it was only a nomological law clone that had come. There was going to be a good show to watch. They knew the situation and were extremely excited at this moment. The faces of the people from the Dragon Palace sank. The Dragon Prince also snorted coldly. Mad God? This time, he should be here to support Lin Xian. So what? No matter how powerful the other party was, he was only ranked 1000th on the Saint Origin leaderboard. Their Dragon Prince was ranked 2nd. The difference between the two was too great. Countless people looked forward. They saw a demonic figure walk over. He was wearing a black robe and was surrounded by demonic chi. It was impossible to see his face clearly. The figure came to the square and waved his hand, taking out a gift box. I'm here to congratulate the Path Sect. There were 3 stalks of 10,000-year-old spiritual herbs in the gift box. The people from the Path Sect received it with a smile. Mad God, greetings. Please take a seat. Mad God said, I have a gift for the Dragon Palace. Everyone was stunned. They had thought that Mad God would support Lin Xian. Why did he have a gift for the Dragon Palace? The Dragon Prince was also stunned. Then he laughed heartily. It seemed like Mad God had been intimidated by the reputation of the Dragon Prince. Now he wanted to rely on them? Good, they could use this opportunity to deal a heavy blow to the Divine Union. The Dragon Prince waved his hand in anticipation when the gift was presented. The others were also stunned. Even the people from the Divine Union were stunned. The demonic figure waved his hand and more than 10 gift boxes appeared again. On the Dragon Palace's side, Lan Xiu, Nengu, and the other powerhouses walked out and brought the gift boxes to the Path Palace. There were so many things. Was he really planning to rely on them? The Dragon Prince was too happy. The people from the Thousand Dragon Court also opened the gift boxes proudly. Lan Xiu, Nengu, and the others opened the gift boxes and everyone's eyes widened. They wanted to see what kind of rare treasures were in the gift boxes. However, they were stunned in the next moment. Some of them even screamed in pain. Lan Xiu fainted immediately. Nangu's pupils shrank. His hands trembled and the gift boxes fell to the ground. A human head rolled out with blood on its face. What was going on? The surrounding people exclaimed. The gift boxes were filled with human heads. The people from the Path Palace were also stunned. The Dragon Prince's pupils shrank. He recognized one of the heads at a glance. Wasn't that the head of the Wind Dragon? Damn it! How could this be? The Wind Dragon spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was frighteningly dark. Had the top genius of the Wind Dragons been killed? Damn it! The Blue Tribe Patriarch also roared. They had discovered that the head in Lan Ziyu's gift box was Lan Ziyu's father. It was no wonder that Lan Ziyu had fainted. In addition, the Golden Crow tribe and the other powerhouses of the Dragon Palace had all been killed. Chapter 4890. Bai Susu was shocked. Wasn't this the group of people who attacked them? That's great, they've finally fallen. The people of the Divine Union also started cheering excitedly. These people deserved it. The surrounding people also understood what was going on. This wasn't a gift for the Dragon Palace. It was obviously revenge for the Divine Union. Damn it, you're courting death. The Wind Dragon's leader shouted angrily. The Wind Dragon was his grandson. How could he not be angry now that he had fallen? He threw out a palm strike that turned into a shocking sword that slashed down from the sky. Boom! That demonic godlike figure was split into two. Then, it turned into demonic chi and dissipated in all directions. At the same time, a voice was heard saying that the gift had been delivered and that he was leaving. Damn it! It was a law clone. The Wind Dragon's leader gritted his teeth. Crown Prince, please avenge us. Yes, he had to capture the other party and tear him to pieces. The people of the Blue Tribe were also shouting crazily. Lan Ziyu had already woken up. She ran to the Dragon Crown Prince and said that the Crown Prince had to capture Mad God and not let him off. And the Divine Union, Lin Xian, send all of them to hell. At this moment, the Dragon Palace was filled with killing intent. The Levitation Saint shouted coldly. How dare you! Lin Xian was a disciple of the True Path sect. All of you belonged to the same sect. How dare you try to kill a fellow disciple? Are you trying to violate the sect's rules? The other elders also frowned. Forget it if you want to capture Mad God. Even if you want to deal with Lin Xian, you should do it quietly. But now, you're saying this in front of so many experts. You're throwing away the face of your ancestor. Sure enough, an elder snorted coldly. You're too arrogant. How dare you? Is this a place where you can come? Leave quickly. Lan Ziyu and the others' blood was boiling and their faces were pale. They also knew that they had said something wrong and lowered their heads. However, they were unwilling to accept this. Long Ao took a deep breath and said, You guys can leave first. We won't let Mad God off. He wasn't stupid. He wouldn't say that he would attack Lin Xian tomorrow. He would only target Mad God. However, deep down, he was filled with killing intent towards the entire Divine Union. He had to annihilate the entire Divine Union. This matter spread out in an instant, and countless people were in an uproar. The entire ancient city was alarmed. After all, countless pairs of eyes were paying attention to something like the Tao meeting. Sacred Abyss Tower. In a large hall, Ocean Abyss Divine General looked at the message in his hand and was shocked. Mad God had appeared again. It was just a law clone. Divine General Yungu said, Didn't you tell him to come over? The Ocean Abyss Divine General shook his head and smiled. Yes, he did. But with his personality, he probably had no qualms about it. I think he has already forgotten about it. The Divine Generals shook their heads and sighed. The Divine General of the Sea Abyss said that it wasn't like that. Since he had stood up for Lin Xian so many times, their relationship was definitely not ordinary. Even if we can't find Mad God, can't we find Lin Xian? Find Lin Xian and ask him to help us pass on the message. When the time comes, Mad God will appear. The moment he said that, the other Divine Generals nodded. Divine General Yungu also smiled. That's great. Let's go take a look at the Tao sect meeting. Thinking about it, those fellows should be going as well. The Divine Generals turned into streams of light and left the Sacred Abyss Tower. The Tao sect had come from all directions to congratulate them. Outside, there were war chariots everywhere. It was a spectacular sight. Inside, the atmosphere was strange. The previous scene had really alarmed them. The Dragon Palace's face was gloomy as he gritted his teeth. Some of the Tao sect's elders' eyes flickered with killing intent. One had to know that the majority of the Tao sect's people favored the Dragon Prince. Therefore, these elders also supported the Dragon Palace. Now that the Dragon Palace had been suppressed to such an extent, they were naturally shocked and displeased. Some elders said, This mad god is too arrogant. He actually dared to kill our geniuses in our Tao sect meeting and act in such a manner. He is simply looking down on us. I suggest that we immediately take action and suppress him. That's right. Many elders nodded in agreement. They were all on the side of the Dragon Prince and the Dragon Palace. The moment these words were spoken, the people outside were shocked. Someone said, "It's over. It seems like the divine union is in danger." Others said that Lin Xian was too young. He didn't know how many elders in the Dragon Palace would secretly support him. Now that he had slapped the Dragon Palace in the face, he was going against these elders. Would he have an easy time in the future? The Wind Dragon's leader frowned. That mad god is so mysterious. We don't even know where he is. If he doesn't come out, won't we be unable to take revenge? The Dragon Prince sneered. Mad God doesn't know, but Lin Xian is here. His relationship with Mad God isn't ordinary. The Levitation Saint's expression changed when he heard this. However, the other elder's eyes lit up. The purple-robed elder said, "That's right. Bring Lin Xian here and ask him about his relationship with Mad God. How should he be punished for allowing Mad God to kill his fellow disciples?" The Levitation Saint shook his head. Mad God was the one who did it. Why should Lin Xian be implicated? What evidence do you have? Is there a relationship between the two? Besides, so what if there's a relationship? Mad God is an expert of the demon Tao. How could he be controlled by Lin Xian? You're just accusing him. We'll know if he's the one who ordered this. The purple-robed elder snorted coldly. There are guards waiting outside. Elder, what's the matter? The purple-robed elder said, "Bring Lin Xian here. I want to interrogate him." The two Tao guards were clad in battle armor as they strode down the mountain. Soon, they arrived at the main hall and stared at Lin Xian. "Kid, come with us." Chains of laws appeared in their hands and they were about to shroud Lin Xian. The Divine Union's people's expressions changed instantly. The dark red dragon jumped out and said, "What's the meaning of this? You actually dare to attack him?" The toad also said, "Don't blame me for being impolite if you attack a fellow disciple." The others cried out in alarm. Lin Xian had overshadowed the Dragon Prince previously. However, no one expected that the Tao sect would want to suppress him now. Someone sneered. "Did you see that? This is the consequence of provoking the Dragon Palace." The elders behind the Dragon Palace were enraged. The people from the Dragon Palace also sneered. "Let's see how this kid dies." Lan Xiu had a sinister expression. She wanted to see Lin Xian fall with her own eyes. Lin Xian also frowned. "You want to suppress me?" One of the guards said, "Kid, you'd better know your place and come with us obediently. Perhaps we can save your face. If you dare to resist, we'll suppress you, tie you up with chains, and take you to the Tao Palace. Choose one." The two guards' voices were sharp and merciless. Why were they arresting him? What was the reason? What did Lin Xian do wrong? Bai Su shouted coldly. She understood that there were already a few elders who were going to take action. She wondered if her father would be able to handle it. It seemed like the situation wasn't good. If he was really suppressed, it would be dangerous. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.